Yes, people, welcome to another edition of From a Third Eye View on Pi Radio, brought to you by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note, and I'm joined here with one of my fellow co-hosts, man like Streezo, aka Mr. I've seen more in the night than you've seen in your life, aka Bloodstroke, aka Stro. What are you telling me, Stro? You good, first and foremost? What are you saying?
Good, man, you.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back.
Wait, it seems like we've been away for so long.
Yes.
It's actually crazy.
We only missed 1 week, and
I
it
know.
does. We was literally saying that. We was, but you blessing everything, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm
Yeah, it
good.
is. And we are here joined by a special guest. First time on From a Third Eye View. You know what I'm saying? Quality battle rapper. So if you're into battle rap, make sure you go and check out his content. You know what I'm saying? Go check out his battles. Absolutely bodying people. Unfortunately, another Liverpool fan, but we move. It is what it is.
Outnumbered.
My like Bizzo, yeah, outnumbered. My like Bizzo is in the building. What are you saying, Bizzo?
Yeah,
And welcome
man.
to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, anytime. You already know. It's all good. Anytime. But yeah, where should we start? Obviously,
Only one place to start.
what would what are you Southgate in now, yeah? You said that with chest, fam.
I was talking about the England performance. I ain't
Oh, is
talking-
it?
I ain't even getting on to Southgate yet.
All right, we'll go to Southgate shortly, but all right, cool. All right, talk about the England performance versus the Ukraine. I was going to go to the surprising semi-finals, but we'll start with England.
Actually, nah, go with the surprise in the semi-finals.
The fact that the semi-finals, Italy-Spain versus Denmark-England, what
Mhm.
would the odds have been on those four being in the semi-finals?
Like 90-1.
I think it would have been more than that.
It's something ridiculous, especially Denmark.
Denmark
Yeah,
would have been mad odds.
Because
wouldn't
now you're getting an unlikely, whoever wins it is still an unlikely winner.
Especially when you you look at the group of death and what side it was on.
Yes.
You expect it France, Portugal, Germany to be
Yes.
at some point in this stage.
It's
Yeah.
mad they're all out. It's mad
Yeah,
they're
it's
all
mad
out.
like Portugal going out the way that they went out,
Yeah.
France going out the way that they went out, which
Yes.
was
100%.
crazy in itself.
Yep.
To be fair though, like during that France game, I don't know if you like were listening to the commentating, but it's like
I wasn't listening to the commentating, but
Switzerland
go on.
haven't won a penalty shootout since 1956.
Yeah.
A competitive game. They've never beaten France in a competitive game, I don't think. They've never won or they've never got further than the quarterfinals since 19 something stupid.
Sound like us.
And then it was literally like as soon as it went to penalties and then Mbappe stepped up, you're like, he's missing this. You could tell him.
Yeah, I knew Mbappe was going to miss. I said it. I was doing a live watch along. As soon as Mbappe stepped up, I was like, he's going to miss.
Yeah.
There's no way he should have took
No.
the fifth penalty. I don't think he should have took it. After the tournament he was having and he had been so poor,
Yeah,
there was no,
I agree with that.
you don't, sudden death, then you're like, all right, you had to. Surely there was somebody else on the pitch. I can't remember who was left for France on the pitch, but there was somebody else to take a penalty.
There's got to have been a more experienced player ready to take a pen in that situation.
Yes.
That would have been a bit more comfortable doing it.
Problem
especially like you
was,
said
like, at
after
that point, they took Benzema off.
Yeah.
Griezmann come off. There was no one really left. Like, you've got people like Marcus Thuram taking a penalty, and I was just like, when he stepped up, I was thinking, one, you've only just come on the pitch. But, like, do you understand the pressure that's on here? Like, he was third or fourth, and I was just like, this is big pressure for a young guy, you know? Especially because his dad's Lilian Thuram as well. Like,
He's a good player, though, him.
One of the
I keep it. You know
favourite-
what? That's how I knew I was getting old because it's like I was doing the watch along and I see Marcus Thuram and I was like, "Is that Lillian Thuram's son?" I was like, "Yeah." I remember watching his dad play. That's the crazy
bro.
part.
Sweden have 22-year-old Henrik Larsson's son on the bench.
I know.
Yeah, I did not know that Henrik Larsson's son was on the bench.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
Yeah,
it when I
but
seen
it's
that.
the age, bro. It's the
Yeah.
age.
That is crazy.
I know it's
like
crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
22 though. Like I remember, it felt like yesterday you were like 35 playing for United. You've done it. It's
Bro, I remember
crazy.
having a Larson Celtic shirt.
It's crazy. That is nuts.
New era.
Yeah, that shocked me. But yeah, go on, carry on. Say what we're saying. We'll go into
No,
England.
but to be fair, like Italy, Spain, you expect that from that side bracket. Do you know what I mean? Or Holland or someone like that. Like Italy and Spain being in the position of winning the semi-final, you don't really bat an eyelid at it because it's Italy and Spain. Like, look
I
at
ain't gonna
that
lie. I
side.
didn't expected because Italy beat Belgium, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when you look at Italy this Euros, like
Mm.
that, they're unbeaten in 36 games.
We gonna get into Italy, but yeah, go on.
Like,
Because I've been
so-
receiving stick about my Italy opinion, but go on.
So it's like you look at them in the Euros and the results they're grinding out, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like when they came up against Belgium, I fancied Italy, even
Yeah.
with Belgium being this hyped up team that they were. So I wasn't too surprised by that at all. Spain is Spain.
But the thing is,
And
No
they
one-
haven't looked great.
they
I've not
haven't
been
looked great.
impressed
No
with
one's
Spain.
really been that impressed. Because even Italy, as good as they've been, is more of, to me, when I look at Italy, it's more of a team effort. Like, no one's really stood out individually. People have had moments, but I look at them as a solid unit. I think defensively,
Yeah,
they've been
I
solid.
agree, yeah.
Even though they haven't played anyone, they've dealt with everybody minus Belgium, they've dealt with everybody who they were supposed to deal with.
And convincingly.
Yeah,
as well.
convincingly. And in terms of their midfield, obviously, when you got Jorginho, Verratti, Locatelli, when you have players of that caliber, it's
And then
always
you've
going
got
to be
like
good.
Donnarumma,
Yeah,
Bonucci,
The
Chiellini,
defensively. And you can see they're well coached as well. You can see that Mancini has gotten them very well drilled.
which is
well
what I
coached.
expect from Italy, and which is
You
what
do
I expect
expect
from
that from
Mancini.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by that, but yeah, it's Spain. I'm not impressed with whatsoever.
And you're not impressed with Alvaro Morata up front.
Who?
Did you not see? Hey, give him to his credit. Yeah, he scored a banger. Did you see that with his left? Did you not see the back? He scored. He scored one of the goal
but
tournaments.
Took him enough times to
That's
get
what I'm
that one
saying.
in
Does
there,
that
didn't
outweigh?
it?
That don't outweigh half the misses that we see. We were
Yeah.
here watching the Sweden game.
Yeah,
We watched it on that screen. That miss is a joke.
yeah,
He steals
yeah.
a living him. He steals a living.
How he has gone for so much money, I don't know, because he's an awful striker.
But here's
Go
the
on.
thing, right? And
Where is he now? Is it Juve? Or is he
Yeah,
back
Yeah,
in
he's still at
Atletico?
Juve. Yeah,
All-
yeah.
all bias aside,
Mm.
how you don't play Thiago in that midfield is a disgrace.
Go on, speak
An
about it.
utter disgrace against Sweden, and you need someone to pick the lock who sit deep, and you need someone to find a killer pass to speed up the tempo with the play, and at times slow it down when you need to stop them on the counter attack.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing against Croatia. Exactly the same thing as every group game that they had, and the man refuses to play him. He's a generational midfielder. He
Okay.
is the best midfielder they've got with the ball.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
not even close. Any of them midfielders don't want to hear it, and the fact that you don't play him, honestly, and you wonder why they're struggling against teams. Look what happens in the game that he starts.
Come.
5-0. There's no coincidence, and this ain't even my Liverpool bias. It's genuinely the truth. Watch Thiago play. You've seen it. You understand football. You know exactly what he brings to.
I
the
understand.
game.
I said it from the jump. Like all Liverpool, me disliking Liverpool aside, I'm like, I looked at that midfield. How Thiago doesn't get into it, I do not know. I don't understand how he doesn't get into that midfield.
It is a bit of a crazy team, that though, because they've not picked any Real Madrid players. Have
Yeah,
they?
but I knew they weren't going to do it. I knew they
That's
weren't
after
gonna
the
do that 'cause
pedigree.
Yeah, because Luis Enrique just hates Real Madrid players from his time at Barcelona. Like, I knew no one.
Hey, I
Real
rate
Madrid
that. I
players
rate
would
that
get
petty still.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
petty,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that kind of petty will cost you your job.
But
You're
at the
being
moment,
foolish.
even though, like I said, Thiago should be playing, I think he should utilize Adama Traore more for all his flaws. He's a player who's direct and
You
takes on
can
players.
stretch the
Stretch,
game,
especially
and
when
then
you're-
create space for
yeah,
midfielders.
100%.
It's not rocket science.
Again, they are in a semi-final.
I don't think they have that much. I don't like the depth on the wide areas.
They don't.
They're playing Sarabia, aren't they, from PSG?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't get a look in, and then you've got Traore
Right.
on the bench. And I mean,
I didn't even know he played for PSG until you just told me.
yeah, exactly.
I had
Doesn't
no
doesn't
idea
even
he
play,
played
bro. Doesn't
for
even
PSG.
play.
No, but this is,
I
but this is what-
assumed he played in Spain.
but this is
I had
what-
no
I'm sure he
idea he
plays for
played for
PSG.
PSG.
Yeah, and it's like Marcus Llorente. Like, why is he playing right back? He's a midfielder. Like, that confused me. I was watching the Sweden game and I said to you, I was like, why on earth is he at right back?
Well, he switched that because we've seen Aspilicueta play right back now.
You play because you have to, because
Yeah,
Marcus
yeah.
Llorente is not a right back.
Yeah.
So it's like none of it makes any sense. But yeah, that side of the bracket, I ain't been apart from Italy because they've just done what they needed to. and
I've been impressed with
defensively
Italy.
they've
To be
been
fair,
outstanding.
I watched them against Turkey, and I thought that they're not going to concede many goals this tournament. They look a very like Flawless said it. They look a very well-oiled machine. So.
I said this when on the show a couple weeks ago. Italy have got an attacking play and they've got a certain attacking patterns where they'll go a 3v2 or 3v1
Mhm.
in the channels, and you'll get Berardi on one side, the fullback, you'll get Insigne, you'll get Jorginho coming over, and then you'll get the fullback bombing on, and they create an overload, and then they create space for Insigne to drop inside, the fullback
Yeah.
to go on the overlap and swing the ball back to Immobile, and you can tell they've worked on it a lot and it's working. They destroyed Turkey with that.
No, he did.
Destroyed him, and he did the same thing with Belgium. A lot of the goals came from those attacking setups, and it works. So Italy are the one I've been impressed with the most on that side. Spain, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then I just wish it wasn't Denmark, because of everything that's happened to Denmark in this tournament, I'd love to see them in the final.
Yeah, you love the story in it, fam. It's okay, man. Just say you want to see that. You reckon Denmark are going to wash England?
That is not what I'm saying.
I'm just guessing.
So
I'm asking
Listen,
the question.
you are fully.
Just
It's
asking.
coming home. Like, stop lying.
It's fully.
Yeah,
It's coming.
you're
up, yeah.
full. I've heard you singing it on the phone to me. Like, why are you lying?
All right, okay. Let me get to the comments anyway. Large of Conrad, he says, big up, Stroll, flawless. Yeah, and the guest name Conrad, that's Bizzo. Hear me, a brethren of mine and Strohs as well. Conrad says, Flawless, you're always surrounded by Chelsea fans and Liverpool fans. You know what? You're right. I am surrounded by the enemy too much. Yes, get the likes up as well if you are watching on the YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitch as well. Pi Radio is now on Twitch. Make sure you follow us on there. And if you're listening via DAB Radio, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Salute to Ryan, who says, big up the panel. Love to Sasha, who's saying, big up everyone. Large up Sasha every single time. Where else we at? And Ryan saying it there before we get off it, how Thiago isn't playing. I don't know. Like I said, I look at that Spain midfield and Thiago should be playing. It's not like he does. If it was Spain of old and Xavi Alonso and Iniesta and Xavi were ahead of him, then I go, you know what? You deserve your... But like I said, on the flip side, he's getting results. That's what tournament football is more so than league and club football. He's getting results because if they had went out in the group stages not playing Thiago, we'd all be pointing the finger at him and saying, this is why you should have played Thiago. But adding the fact he's not playing Thiago, it's working. You know what I'm saying? Like similar to Italy, I was critical of Italy because I think even though I think they're a good side, they're doing minus Belgium, all the teams they played, I expect them to beat. I look at their front three and I go, that's where I think that's what will cost you in the end. Because I look at Insigne and Mobley, whether it's Chiesa playing or whoever, or Berardi, and I don't know in a tight game, it's even though Insigne did it against Belgium,
whether you've got that special moment.
Whether you've got that special moment, because behind it is fine. When I look at the midfield, I'm a big fan of Verratti, massive fan of Verratti.
I've always been a fan of Verratti.
Jorginho, I think, is criminally underrated for what he does.
Yeah, but come on. Wait,
go on.
Because we're on Jorginho.
Go on.
At no point, I'm looking to the camera, no point should this man ever be in the Ballon d'Or conversation. At no point.
that's just
at no point.
Let
me just make.
I
will say that with full chest, 10 toes down. At no point should this man ever be mentioned in the same conversation as Ballon d'Or. Just because Kante was once
Kante was
a World Cup, I don't care.
But that's more so people just running jokes and running banter. That's what that is. That's what that is.
No, like newspapers are starting to report that he's potentially in the running, depending on how Italy do.
You know why? Because newspapers be not us specifically, I know. But they be paying attention to what we be saying in terms of the Chelsea fans. And you know what Lewis is like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not running that, but yeah, they be paying attention to what's going on. They do be paying attention, but yeah, Jorginho and then Chiellini and Bonucci are just Chiellini and Bonucci. I think I seen it was I don't know if it was a joke, but I seen a headline. I think Chiellini said, "I know Bonucci, but I don't know my wife" or something like that. Like that man could just play forever. You know what I'm saying? It seems like
that man genuinely could play when they're 55 years old, and they would twist strikers up for fun.
It is mad how good
they are horrible to play against.
Yeah, age is not a factor for them. And comrades here saying MUFC have made a 50 million offer to Real Madrid for Rafael Varane. Marca. Is Marca a newspaper?
Yeah, Marca is a Real Madrid newspaper.
Okay, we will get into that. We will touch on that because as a Manchester United fan, I've got a lot to say and I refuse to believe my club is trying to run properly. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe after 10 years, all of a sudden now we're trying to sign players.
Glazers in.
That we fit. Relax with that business. You know what I'm saying? I know we fit 8 minutes in. It's Glazers out forever, people. I've said that. But I refuse to believe my club is trying to run like a proper, serious football club and challenge for top honors. I refuse to believe we are making bids for quality players in positions we need. I can't believe we signed Sancho before the Euros is finished. I thought we was going to drag it out.
You're going for Camavinga now.
This is what I'm hearing. I'm like, what? I refuse to believe it, but we're going to get into that.
That's free. That is three.
And we're doing great business. We got Sancho for like 7. Nah, I refuse to believe we are going to. Next, we're going to be trying to sign an actual DM. Like, no, I don't believe it, innit? Like, nah. Ollie's going to be on the way. I refuse to believe it. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happens when you protest and things of that nature. But clearly they've worked. But yeah, back to where was we at talking about Spain. But yes, Spain have been getting the results. In terms of the game, you probably would favour Italy, but a Spain win wouldn't surprise me. Because
I think it'll be a good game, that. I think it'll be quite open.
You reckon it's going to be...
Yeah.
It depends on who dominates possession, because Spain like to try and dominate possession.
I've got Italy 2-0.
How will Italy play? Will they try and catch Spain on the break? Or will Spain try and catch Italy on the break? Like,
I think Spain will dominate the ball, but Italy will catch them on the counter attack.
Yeah, I think Spain will have majority of the possession.
I reckon Spain and then Italy will try and catch it.
2-0.
And that's where I think Italy's issue might lie, because if they're not dominating the ball, they're trying to catch them on the break. They're going to have to, in their moments, depending on how many they have, I could be wrong, they could have many moments going forward, but if their moments are few and far between, then you have to capitalize on them things.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell that Spain play are starting to come into their own and play decent football now. That they've had moments where you think, wow, that was a nice goal, that was a nice move, and
Yeah,
because they scored, did they not score like 10? Was it like 8 goals in their previous 2 games, or was it 10? They scored 5 from 4, was it?
Yeah, but they've had to score 3 goals in one game because the keeper tried to put his foot on the ball. It went in.
Yeah, man. Allow Unai Simon, man. I felt for him when that happened. Still, the goalkeeper, man. Unai Simon.
Who does he play for?
That's Kepa's replacement.
Right, who does he play for?
Bilbao.
Who does Unai Simon play for? Yeah, it's Bilbao. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Did you know that? Because I didn't
at the
know
time.
that.
Yeah, the reason why I knew because I asked it on the like, who does he play for?
That's what I mean. But when you first see him step on the telly, if no one told you, you don't have to ask. Did you know who he was?
They obviously make well calamity keepers at Bilbao, don't they?
Yeah. Thankful for him they won that game. Otherwise, he would have been getting.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what's mad? He pulled off. So he had one of the biggest stinkers in terms of that goal I've seen in the tournament, and he pulled off some of the best saves I've seen this tournament so far. I'm just like, how do you go from one extreme to the other? Like, I just don't get it.
Did you know Bilbao can only sign players from the Basque region of Spain?
Yeah, I knew that.
I did not know that. Why is that? What's going on there? What did I miss?
It's just one of the traditions.
It's very political, and it's like Barcelona are Catalonia, and Catalans and Catalonia want to become like a separate entity to Spain altogether, which is do that because you'll get kicked out of La Liga. But as you can tell, Barcelona don't really care about being kicked out of anything.
Yeah, that's true. Ain't they still in the Super League?
Yeah, of course they are. Trying to turn around and say, actually, no, it was Real Madrid. It's actually Liverpool and United that started it all. Funny that. Because I'm pretty sure Fiorentino Perez turn around and say, listen,
he's clinging on him for dear life, isn't he?
If FIFA turn around and say, you're not allowed to play in a World Cup, we will create our own World Cup.
Yeah. He is tripping. And yeah, people, I know the Wi-Fi isn't the best in terms of the picture, but it will clear up. So bear with us, people. Bear with us. But you can still hear us anyway. Love to everyone who's locked in. But yeah, Italy, Spain. So you're saying Italy, Stro, Izzo. You're saying Italy or Spain?
I do think Italy, but I think it'll be a good game of football. It'll be entertaining to watch, definitely.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it is 2 teams with that do like to keep the ball well. You know what I'm saying? Up to the final third. It's just I look at both final thirds for the teams. And they're the problem areas for both of them. I think they obviously we discussed early defensively in their midfield. Even Spain without Thiago, their midfield's not. You still got Busquets in there, Koke, so it's not the worst. And even though they've had,
it's like 70.
Yeah, but a bit like Chiellini, it's like you're still going to get a certain.
Yeah,
he's not at the level, but you're still going to get a certain technical ability from him.
At the same time, there's less of a pitch to play with in terms of Chiellini. Chiellini can use his body to manipulate it to go one way, so he can nick the ball and he can make you run down the channel. Busquets can't do that.
I think it won't surprise me if Thiago did actually play in this game. To be fair, because I think their midfield they'll need to match it in some sort.
You've got to match up Jorginho. If it's Jorginho, Verratti, and let's say it's Locatelli, let's say it's those 3. You want Thiago in there with Busquets.
Well,
definitely.
I know there's been a lot of Spanish newspapers that have been calling for it. And that aren't happy that he hasn't been starting. So we are starting to get a bit of pressure, Luis Enrique. So we'll see.
It's just it's just in the front 3. I think Fernan Torres, because I've watched him more closely than when he's been at City, and he's been decent. Like he's looked bright.
This is another thing with the wingers, though, isn't it? Like these wingers that they're playing, none of them played a large amount of club football. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like I said, I'm still shocked that Sarabia plays for. I had no idea. That has blew my mind that he plays for people. I just presumed that he played in Spain.
He never plays a game for them as well. No, it's crazy.
He hardly ever comes on.
But you wouldn't expect that from Spain, would you? You'd expect Spain to have like a list of like top
that just shows how far they.
Yeah, because your golden generation doesn't last forever, and it's amazing how 4 years or even 2 years can change. Because people are talking about the World Cup. All it takes is for you as a nation, let's say Spain, for instance, 2 or 3 Spanish players to break through of a high quality, and that changes their whole team. So say, for instance, they get a quality central midfielder, a striker comes in, and a right back, for instance. That changes the whole complexion. Same with Belgium, England. You can put in out any team, or you can lose a couple. You know, like that type of thing. But yeah, Spain and Italy, I think it is going to be interesting. I tell you,
is a good player, Pedri. He's very good for his.
Pedri looks decent.
18 years old.
Yeah, we were with him.
We were when that was when he was not going to sign a contract, but I think he has now, hasn't he?
Yeah, they signed that right up to make sure that he signed that contract.
I'm like, what's his minimum fee now? Like 260 million or something like that. Perfect. I'll have 2 of them.
I am looking forward to him. We'll see how it goes. And I can definitely see. I don't know who's gonna win, you know, because all my picks for the Euros have been in the mud. But in terms of, I can see it going to extra time. That's what I can see. Yeah, I don't see many goals. And I could see it. If it's a 1-1 going into extra time, it wouldn't surprise me, and then a late winner. Yeah. But just for the drama, I'd rather see penalties. just for the chaos. It's great. Penalties is great when it's not your team.
Oh yeah,
It's fantastic. As a neutral, there's nothing better than extra high stakes, like extra time and penalties to go through to the next round.
Spain will have to be better in the penalty shootout than they were
Oh,
against
jeez.
Switzerland. Though.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the worst penalty shootouts I've seen.
Fun to watch.
It's kind of like on FIFA. You know when you don't, like, they've got the new penalties on
and then
FIFA. You know how to use it.
Yeah, you're not
That's
quite
what it's
mastered
like.
it yet.
Yeah.
And it's either straight down the middle or you blast
Blast
it
it.
somewhere. Yeah,
That's me on FIFA. I need to try and figure that out still. I was playing my little bro on FIFA. No idea about penalties and that. He won the shootout. Like,
I
it's
don't even
awful.
think I played the latest FIFA,
I
mate.
gotta figure it out. I only play it to play him because he's like, let's play. I'm like, all right, let's run. Let's go. But yeah, on to the big one. Obviously, England, Denmark in the semi-final. Yeah, man, we'll go with you, Stroke. We'll start here actually before we get into the actual semi-final itself. Does Southgate deserve more credit? Go to you, Stroke.
Yes and no.
Go on.
You can never just give a straight answer, can you?
No, because I'll tell you why. So, this man, right, decided to play Trippier at left back in the first game.
Mhm.
Look at the performances of Luke Shaw.
Mhm.
So, are we going to give him credit for rectifying his mistake?
You give him credit for rectifying his mistake, and here's the thing: is we could talk about him playing Trippier at left back, which he shouldn't have done. I do agree with that. But England won that game.
Yeah, I agree. England won that game, but this is what I'm saying: is even though England won, even though England are doing well, there's still a lot of cracks which the results are papering over. In terms of, look at that midfield too.
Yeah, Rice and
Phillips, right?
Yeah.
England's game against Ukraine was to press, and to press high, right? So, just to reel off a few names. So, Calvin Phillips, is in the highest team pressing wise percentage in the Premier League. Marcelo Bielsa, right? Jude Bellingham, Champions League quarter finalist, youngest ever Champions League scorer, youngest ever player to play at the Euros until it was beaten a couple of days later. Presses with Dortmund.
Yeah.
Foden presses. Mount presses.
True.
Declan Rice doesn't.
Okay.
So why is he part of a pressing team? Explain that. Genuinely, just forget it's Declan Rice for a second.
Yeah.
A player that doesn't play in a pressing system, that doesn't know when to press or doesn't know when not to press, he's not worked on it unless he's been with England, which isn't a long enough time. In a European quarter-final, why is he in a team when he's functionally not a presser? Yeah. Explain that to me. As a manager, explain.
Yeah, I think what it is, I can't explain it as a manager because England went obviously a goal up early and then they sat back.
Nah, because there was times where they were
sat back. There was times where they...
But then look what happened. When Ukraine came back into the game, was when England started to press. And look where it fell apart. In the midfield too. It didn't fall apart because of Calvin Phillips. He was always in that position. It fell apart when Declan Rice was on the pitch. I think that's no word of lie. And then Jordan Henderson comes on the pitch, plays more midfield passes than any of the midfield two combined. Yeah. Presses. And look what happened. England regained control. England against Germany. That second half specifically, there was a 25-minute spell. In fact, Germany of old, Germany got 1 or 2-0 up. We just let that game drift. That's Southgate's man management. I think poor.
Yeah, I think what it is, but added on top of that as well, the fact that you're playing Ukraine and we're here talking about England pressing is an issue because you should be dominating the ball against Ukraine. I was saying that in the first half, you should be dominating. But that is a mentality thing. Southgate is very pragmatic. He's very pragmatic, as you've seen. Go on, Bizzle.
Every England manager has an overcautious mentality. It doesn't matter how far you go back. Every single one are more bothered about losing a game than they are winning one convincingly. That's
probably since maybe Glenn Hoddle, maybe Terry Venables.
I'd go further back. I'd go further back.
Maybe so. We're talking 96.
Yeah, we're talking like 20 odd years.
Yeah, like 96, 90.
We got hold of Capello, and he. I've never seen us play as negatively.
Well, it's like Sven.
Then I mean, we should technically have a Sam Allardyce England right now. We should be, and I mean, you can't get more negative than that, can you?
Happy.
Why are you always hating on Big?
Why you say what I need to say?
Why are you always hating on Big Sam? That's all I'm saying.
Awful.
Only been relegated once from the Premier League, but we move.
And that was the one time where you said, "Oh, he's not going to get relegated."
Yeah, because I thought, right, that was a safe bet to make. He stayed up his whole 20-year career, and now you're sticking it on Sean Dyche, who again not been relegated, and it stays up in the Premier League. But big up Eddie Howe, who's been relegated and can't get a job right now. But we move. You know what I'm saying? Tell me I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? People talking about Eddie Howe this, Eddie Howe that. He got relegated and we haven't seen him since.
Who talks about Eddie Howe this?
So I find Eddie Howe, no.
I'm a fan of his style of play.
This is what I'm saying.
However,
And
if
Eddie
you go
Howe.
back several shows ago, you will also hear me say that the reason he's not got a Premier League job is because of how he performed in his last 6 months at Bournemouth, which is why he's not got the job.
Yeah. And that was
So-
just it's the new shiny toys now.
If
Graham Potter.
Eddie, I know this is a massive
full
tangent.
iron, Ryan.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm just saying, but he's the new one. You always get the new. Sorry to cut you off, Bizzo. You get the new English manager who comes in, plays good football, and people are hyped to the max.
Bro, if Eddie Howe was 50 years old, no one would care about him. That's the be all and end all of it. Well,
I know.
if it's because he's 30 odd.
I know.
He's-
And this is what I said. And
He's
this
like-
is
he's
what I
like
said.
the English
It's the
version.
same with Graham. It's the same with Potter.
Yeah,
It's like the
Graham
English
Potter
version
is.
of
Yeah,
Nagelsmann.
I've said this. I've said this. Graham Potter might be better than Eddie Howe, but I'm like, you always get this as soon as the English manager, and because you made a great point there, Bizzo, about English managers being overly cautious. When we get one who's not that, or he's the great, like, no, he's not. He just plays attacking football, and give Graham Potter his credit because he does that well with Brighton, and he keeps them in the league. Not only does he get good performances out of those players, he gets good results as well,
Yeah,
or
but
good enough.
But Brighton last season were predominantly good defenders. That they didn't concede a lot of goals on like, a number of occasions, and that's the same with England. I think the Southgate certainly built the team from the back. It's the defense has been his main concern, and then he's overcompensated in his midfield with his two with
And
Fat
that's
Phillips.
so.
I know
this
I know it's an issue from a fan standpoint. It's an issue, but I personally can't criticise Southgate too much this tournament because the hard facts are we haven't conceded a goal, we haven't been beaten yet, and we're in the semi-finals of the
Yep.
Euros, and that to me that's more important than saying that Calvin Phillips and Rice shouldn't have started.
No.
together.
So this is my point, and this is my problem is because I manage a team nowhere near at the same level. I might, you know what I'm like. I analyze the game differently than just you're a casual fan. Like there'll be certain things I'll look
Well,
at.
people
and I'll
need to
pick
realize
up.
that Stroh is an actual like football manager, like not the game. Like in real life, manages the whole Saudi league team going. So that's why he looks at things more in depth.
So, for example, right, I understand why he's set up the way that he's set up this Euro specifically. So I understand why he's set up. However, even then, there's been some selections which are just baffling, like Trippier at left back. Still, Luke
That is
Shaw
baffling.
like when you've got Luke Shaw there, like I still can't.
Like
get my head
Chilwell, you
around
had
it.
Saka, who can all
Yeah.
play left back. Yes,
And so it's like that one. Kyle Walker. He's okay defensively. Going forward, he is awful. He's one of the worst attacking players going forward. Because how many times? No, this is not a joke. How many times?
that
you'll
is
be
a
able to
joke.
vouch-
You know why? Because every time he makes a mistake, I think of you. And
Yeah.
people in the comments be like, "I know Stroh don't like Kyle Walker. I
but
know he's screwing right now."
like,
But you
this
got a
is
fair point. You got a
No,
valid
but this
point
is my
going.
point because, right, for example, this times against Ukraine where Sancho would be on the right hand side, he'll turn and he'd play the ball back.
Yeah.
And the ball's there to be whipped in first time
100%.
because Kane's made the run, Sterling's made the run back post, even times where Declan Rice, Phillips are there, Mount was there to capitalise. And what does Kyle Walker do? Takes a touch, knocks it out his feet, and then hits it. Because he's not got the ability to hit it first time. If that's Reece James, he's whipping that ball for fun. If that's Trent, doesn't even need to say anything. That ball's getting whipped
Whipped,
in
yeah.
onto someone's head. And that's an
If that's
opportunity.
Trippier, yeah.
And this is my point against a better team, against an Italy, for
Yeah.
example, where defensively they are solid and you need to catch them out. You're not going to do that with Kyle Walker because he's going to take the touch, and then Chiellini and Bonucci are just going to set back, and then they're set.
Yeah,
But
And
that's his mentality of overcompensating with the defensive factor as opposed to he'd rather sacrifice the attacking attribute to make sure that he doesn't concede as
And
much.
then
going back.
that's why Harry Kane's had the starts.
we're gonna get into that,
that.
and he has. But my problem is, like you said, I agree with you, Bizzo, in terms of you can't criticize him too much simply because you're in the semi-finals, you've not conceded a goal, you're getting victories. And yes, the defensive part is the weakest part of your team. If England were playing in France, they're playing in Italy, if they're playing in Belgium, and he sets up cautious. I don't think too many people are gonna have an issue with how you're setting up. The
Yeah.
problem I have is when you're playing, when you're the better team. Clearly, you're playing Scotland. Why are you setting up like you're playing prime Brazil?
But that's what the point. The point is he's overcautious and he's
Yeah.
too scared. He's the fear of losing overpowers the confidence in trying to win
In games.
convincingly.
But the thing is, and what makes that worse though is the fact of if he had Scotland's attacking players, I'd understand if he had that. You have attacking players in abundance,
Yeah.
whether it's look at the bench, like never mind. So let's say, for instance, it's Kane, Sterling, Sancho, and Mount. So that means you got Grealish on the bench, you got Saka
Foden.
on the bench, you got Foden on the bench, you got Dominic
Rashford.
Calvert-Lewandowski on the bench, you got Rashford on the bench. So we have just named there 5 players who can all go into that first 11, and not too many people will have a major issue, and it can all change. So you have all these attacking players, and you're still being cautious against your Scotland's.
But this is my concern. When you look at the Germany game specifically, right? It's a phenomenal result. It's a result we've not seen in our lifetime in terms of a competitive game against Germany. Muller, when he goes through, you expect Muller of old, especially against England.
I expected Muller to score. I did think Muller was going to score.
But my biggest problem was, if this is against Belgium in that game, those 25 minutes after the first half, and we did it against Scotland, we did it against Croatia, and we did it against Ukraine to an extent. There's a spell of 20 to 25 minutes where it goes stale, it goes slow. We start to sit back, we turn negative. France would pick us apart, regardless of the fact that they got knocked out by Switzerland. We'd have got picked apart. Portugal definitely would have picked us apart. Germany of old, I'm talking, if this is Germany 2014, we're talking 4 or 5s. Because, and this is where I'm critical of Southgate, is because you've got the squad. You have it.
You have the attacking
it at your
players.
disposal. You have to make a substitution at that point, whether it's 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. You have to be clinical, because if we play, for example, Italy at that point, and then, or even Spain haven't been great this Euros. However, if we get a 25-minute spell where Spain starts to dominate the ball, we let them in.
I get your point.
And then
against better opposition,
but we haven't played Spain though. That's the thing.
But I'm talking about.
You're foreseeing it, like in the
final,
future, it could
final.
happen.
If we go through that spell again, it's curtains, and it's on Southgate to manage it. And this is why I get frustrated with him, because I look at it and it's like, Declan Rice is on a yellow card. Why is he still there 20 minutes later? You get him off because you see the challenges.
I get your point, but in top of that, I just think England's midfield options in that, with the way he sets up, is not good enough regardless. So I think you're going to have games
he's very
where
limited
they're going to drift. Because I don't think going, is he what? What do you mean?
Is he limited in the centre mid? Because you got Bellingham.
Bellingham's the only one, but I think even a Bellingham, to me, and you know how highly I rate Bellingham. I'm a big fan. I think he should be starting. I've said this. If you're good enough to be playing in Germany at 17 and they're chasing Bundesligas and they won the Pokal Cup and you're in the Champions Leagues and he's playing, and in the first leg in Manchester, he was one of Dortmund's best players. Like, he was their best central midfielder easily, and he looked the most likely. So to me, if he's good enough in that area, he should be playing. But whether it's Jude Bellingham and Henderson, Bellingham Rice, Bellingham Phillips, it's just the way he sets up. I still don't think that's enough. If they were offensive, I think he's good enough. But it's defense first.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
Worrying about
this is
it's got him this far, but it's got Italy. Italy, I wouldn't say they don't play expansive football. Neither does Spain.
I think
really, Denmark, I wouldn't say play expansive. They're all struggling because they don't have much they don't have a lot in forward areas in terms of their front threes.
And this is where I think England have really hit the nail on the head. If you look at teams that have won the Euros historically, defensive has always come first. Your Portugal's in 2016, your Greece in 2004. It's stubborn, and you would always win by the odd goal. So I understand. I don't mind the way he's approached it in terms of that, because the results are speaking for themselves. However, I'm talking about his in-game management.
It's not the best. That's just his deficiencies.
I'm talking about his substitutions, and I'm talking about his selection at times, because we will get punished. And it's like, you look at Declan Rice, and this isn't just singling him out, because I think there's a good player in there. However, there's times where he looks so lost. Like, for example, the Scotland game, right? The reason why that midfield 2 broke down is because you see it. They get the ball into Scotland started to sit back. And this is why I'm talking about Italy, for example, if they start to do it, because they will do it. They will sit back in it and they will say, break us down. The problem with playing them 2 at that point is, once he gets to Phillips, one touch, gone. And he's got the passing ability to spray it left, to spray it right, to catch teams off, right? Rice hasn't, because what Rice does, takes a touch, takes another touch, he'll turn with it, and then he'll pass it. At that point, everyone's setting. Look at what Henderson did when he came on. One touch.
You're talking about being more of a tempo.
That reflects on club football, though, doesn't it, as well, I reckon? Because he comes from a team, a Moyes squad, whereas...
And this is the point that I'm making. Southgate knows that. So when you're Scotland, it baffled me the fact that he didn't get taken off at half time, because it wasn't working.
I get it.
I'm not even saying Henderson, even if it's Bellingham. Bellingham, when he comes on, quickens the play up.
But this comes back to the whole, he doesn't want to lose argument in the sense that he'd rather have Rice on the pitch who's better defensively than a Bellingham.
Yes.
Yeah, but is Rice defensively better than a Henderson?
I think there's not much. I think if Henderson's fit, I think it's probably Henderson and Rice. If Henderson's fully fit going into the tournament.
Yeah, I think
so. I'm saying he's going. I agree with Bizzo. He's going defense first.
Yeah, I get
because
that,
all three of those players are better than Jude Bellingham
Henderson
defensively.
Has been fit for the past 2-3 games.
Yeah.
Is Rice better than Henderson defensively? It's not a chance.
I think
I wouldn't argue. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't argue either way much. I think they're both.
I think the Scotland game came a bit too soon for Henderson personally.
Solid defensively.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is after that.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. I think if they would have had bad results, if they would have
Republic game,
but with
Germany game,
yeah, with Southgate because they haven't conceded a goal. Even though Rice, you can say he's the weak link or he's not doing what he's supposed to. I just think he's playing at his level. I think he's a decent player, and that's what that is. Because they've been defensively solid, he doesn't want to shake that up. Yeah, if they say they had played Scotland and won 3-2, or say they played the Czech and won 4-3, then he would. I think he would have put a Henderson in. But because they haven't conceded a goal to him, in his mind, this back four with these two in front, or the back three with these two in front, is working. That's why I'm not going to change it.
I get that, but at the same time, is you can still make substitutions in that to make it even better, and defensively, it still stays exactly the same.
Yeah, he should have made subs. I've criticized him, like I've said it many a times, that he reminds me of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He reminds me of him. The same criticisms I see of England fans criticizing him is the same exact thing I say about Ole. His in-game management, being pragmatic. To me, you don't need two holding midfielders against Scotland.
No,
you
don't.
But go back to the Germany game, right? Yeah. I don't know if you just heard the commentary at the time.
I didn't know.
Vigorously warming up, about to come on, was Jordan Henderson and Rashford, right?
Yeah.
What did ITV do?
Go on.
Panned it to Grealish. Okay. And then you heard the reaction from the fans. Then suddenly Grealish is coming on. So it's like, you really, genuinely got pressured into that substitution. Because he wasn't warming up. He wasn't nowhere to be seen. It was Henderson and Rashford were about to come on because they were going through the vigorous warm up, and Steve Holland at the time was telling him what roles they wanted to play and what they were going to be doing when they were coming on. Grealish was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly it comes on the camera, stadium goes absolutely wild, then it's I suppose I should Grealish on. And then look what happens.
Yeah, but we shocked by this. That's Southgate though. The reason why to
that's
me
my problem with him.
We know his deficiencies. To me, that's the reason why he took four right backs. Obviously, Trent got injured. I don't think he wanted to take Trent. Should he have taken Trent? Yes, I've said this on here. Trent should be in a 25-man squad.
He's being pressured into certain decisions.
But we know this.
As a manager, you have to live and abide by your decisions.
Yeah.
Stand on it. Like, don't be swayed. If you don't want to play Grealish, don't play Grealish. And the results will speak for themselves. However, when I see you getting pressured into certain stuff, it's like, come on.
But you know what the problem is? With Grealish, it's something else because he has no leg to stand on with him. That's the problem. Like what he spoke of Sancho, the Sancho incident he might be going to Manchester United, his head's not in it, blah, blah, blah. If he would have said that, that makes more sense than experience. So you're playing Calvin Phillips, who's had one season in the Premier League. You're playing Declan Rice, who has never touched Europe, but yet you've got Bellingham, who's playing in Champions League and playing in the Bundesliga. Yeah, you're playing Sancho, who's also doing the same. So this is where it falls down. Like you said, all I ask of managers, whether I agree or disagree with you, is stand on your decision.
And that's my point.
That's what it is. I've said that about Ole in the final with Henderson and De Gea. Do I think Henderson's better than De Gea? No. But you've picked Henderson as your number one. So we're in a final, play your number one goalkeeper. Like, stand by it. And then he might have saved one of the penalties. We might have won the shootout and we're having a whole different conversation.
And this is my point with Southgate. When he first took over, it was, I'm sure you remember it, I'm not going to play players based on past merit. It's based on what their thing is and stuff like that. Now, however, one thing I will say is, even though we said that, no one would have expected him to pick Sterling. The reaction he's got out of Sterling this Euro, Sterling has been by far one of our best players.
But you know what it is though? Because he said this as well. He's a big, even though what you just said there about him, I won't be pressured into playing players on names as form only, blah, blah, blah. That is not the case. That's not true. Because I think he said it about Troy Deeney. He had said it. And he said, England, I'm not playing players from small clubs. And I think that ties in against Grealish. I think Grealish is playing at a big six. I think he's playing. Sancho, all of a sudden, no looking. I think he got 10 minutes, moves to Manchester United, all of a sudden you're in the starting lineup. Or he's training different. So how come you didn't mention him training bad, you know what I'm saying, beforehand, but now all of a sudden it's fine? Like, come on. It's because he's playing for Manchester
See,
United.
I don't think he has a big six agenda though, because
does.
But he has Phillips and Rice in the midfield, so he can't. That you've got Phillips and Rice who are playing ever present. You've got. Yeah,
but the thing is, I think if Henderson's fit, I think one of them drop out.
See,
I think if
I
Bellingham's
agree that if Henderson was fit, then one of them
and I
two
think
would
if
be
Bellingham's at a big six club, he probably gets a look in because we had the option in that too. You've got Rice, you got Phillips, you got Henderson, you got Jude Bellingham.
I think being at a big six club automatically puts that you're ready to play in this kind of atmosphere,
and that's what it is. And Sancho makes a move to to United, and all of a sudden, within 3 days, he's not coming off the bench. He's starting. He's been nowhere near your lineup.
I could see that being the case as to why Sancho hasn't been playing in the group stages, but I do think that transfer saga has been like draining, and it's been going on for so long. Yeah. Like we're talking like over a year. It's been going on, and he's finally got it over the line now. Now his head's clearing, his conscience is clearing.
Naturally, you are going to get distracted by that because, especially this summer, because you're thinking, well, it fell apart last summer. Is it going to fall apart again? And then potentially you're trying to look at what's my plan B, what's my plan C? Do I have to stay at Dortmund? If not, is this club available? So naturally, you are going to get distracted. So
and he's a young lad as well. He's not like a 20. He's not like a Kane who's like 28.
He's not 20. But then the thoughts on that one, I think Kane's situation is not as bad, but it's very similar. In terms of
the thing with Kane is it's going to take it's
older.
It's going to take an astronomical offer to get him out of that contract that he stupidly signed. He shouldn't have signed that contract for that.
It's come out. Obviously, you walking around the golf course talking like everyone knows you want to leave. So it's like if the Sancho is one thing, and I hear that it can be distracting. Yes, Kane is slightly older, but that's probably added more pressure because Sancho's probably looking at it like if I don't move, I'm still 21. I still got time. For Kane, it's now or never type of thing. But he'll never do that. I
think Kane's harder to take out of the England squad for transfer saga than Sancho.
And that's my issue right there is that, and what you're there saying is right, but that shouldn't be the case. It should be one for all type of thing.
Yeah, but you can't play Calvert-Lewin instead of Kane because you just know that Kane offers. As poor as he's been in the group stages, I think he's starting to come into his own a bit. He's starting to get his focus back, and he's actually focused on the tournament rather than what's going on. But outside of it,
more to the point as well with that is in the first 3 games because of the way England's set up, and the setup's not changed that much. However, there has been slight tactical tweaks.
Because I'm going to get to this as well because C1 London got a great point. But go on, great question. Sorry.
In terms of with regards to the way that we're starting to attack now, that's why you see Kane in a different light. Because look what happened in the Ukraine goal. Where was Kane? On the shoulder.
Where he should be. Yeah.
Not dropping, standing next to Calvin Phillips, pinging a ball left, right, and centre. Like that's where Kane was, and you can see that they started to tweak it slightly, especially against Germany in the second half.
And he's turning back into a number 9. Like Mourinho's ruined him. Mourinho's like going to sit back deep and start playing link-up play as a one-up front on his own.
But then Southgate ran with it for the group stages, right? And then look what happened in the Germany game in the second half because he rolled his ankle a bit and he couldn't run about more. He was told to stay on the shoulder. Lo and behold, that's where he gets his goal. And then he's been told to do the exact same thing against Ukraine on the shoulder. And look what happens. He gets 2 goals from it.
Yeah, and that's
the slight tactical tweak where Southgate deserves credit. However, it shouldn't take this long to get to that.
It shouldn't take too long, and I don't put that all on Southgate because I think that's on Kane as well. Like, get on the pitch.
I think when you're playing international football, you translate your club style of play into your own individual performances. Yeah. That's why Henderson's so good at what he does when he's pressing in the midfield, and why arguably he could be ahead of Rice.
And that's why I'm saying when we're pressing, and you want to, because Ukraine play some good football and they like to play football. I understand the pressing with guys to trying to nick it early, nick it high up, nick a goal from it, right? That's fine. But the whole reason it started to break down and he started to get a foothold in the game is because Declan Rice doesn't know how to press. He doesn't know when to go, when to sit off. He doesn't know what avenue to press and how to manipulate your body. So if you are pressing, you make them go a certain way. So then when someone else is pressing, you go. That's why you're hunting packs. You've got to understand and you've got to study pressing because it's not just one goal. Because they'll just play a triangle and then they're in. That's why I was so baffled watching it, thinking you've got the man who has been in the most pressing team in Europe that knows the pressing system inside out, knows how to press, when to press. And he's on the bench, and it's like, and you've got Declan Rice who's on a yellow card. So it's just like, come on now. It just didn't make any sense to me. And that was what my biggest issue with Southgate.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Big up to everyone in the comments as well. We will get to you. And C1 under there says, would you guys go to 3 at the back against Denmark as their wing backs are very dangerous? I've said this from before the tournament. I've said it. I like that system for England. I think it utilizes what they have to the max. It improves them defensively in terms of having an extra centre back, because that's where England are their weakest. You have ample wing back options. So whether it's right wing back, whether you want to play Kyle Walker there, whether you want to play Trippier there, whether you want to play Reece James, same as right sided centre back. Kyle Walker can play there. Reece James has played there for Chelsea. And then even on the other side, left wing back, you got Chilwell, you got Saka, you got Shaw. Shaw can also play as a left sided centre back. We're talking about the midfield too. You can play them too, and whoever you want to play in there, you could maybe go a little bit more attacking.
So,
and then you got your attacking options anyway. I like the 3-5-2 for England. I do.
I think if he goes to a 3, because
And I think he will. I think he'll match them.
Because you know the reason why Kyle Walker's still in the or still on the squad, and still in the pitch. Did you see his performance against Germany when we went to the 3?
Yeah, I did.
Defensively, he was as solid as I think I've ever seen him.
And he's got
This is why he picked. This is why he gets picked.
Yes.
But it's like when you see him play as an actual out and out right back, he gets exposed too much, and that's why he's not been playing for City. Because attacking wise, you see it. City, as soon as it calls back, you hit it first time because you've got Aguero, you've got Foden, you've got players like that making a run, Mahrez making a run late. And this is why I was so critical. If you play Walker and you play him as a third centre back, okay.
Yes.
I don't agree with it necessarily, because I think there's better defensive options in England than used to play the third centre back. However, I understand it, and his performance against Germany at times was outstanding. Defensively, he was so composed because he's not being tasked with getting the ball and having to ping it or having to feed the ball down. How many times against Ukraine did you see this man try and clip the ball down the line and it either went out for a throw-in or it was intercepted? Because that's not his game. It's not his game anymore. He's not good at that. So when you play him as a third centre-back and he's got someone on the outside who he can quickly knock the ball to, he's fine and he looks okay. So the 3 at the back, I don't mind. The wing-backs, that's where it'll pose Southgate
selection
a problem,
headache.
because I think Shaw will definitely be one of them.
Yeah, so Shaw's going to be left wing back. Then who plays
So
right
then
wing
it's
back?
who's right wing back, because I assume he'd go Trippier because of the experience, which I don't mind.
And the set piece ability as well.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And then it's like the midfield 2, we're probably going to stay as the midfield 2.
With Rice
So
and
then you
Phillips.
go number 10 and then 2 up top. So you go with them 2 and then you just go with the 3 up top.
You have to go with the 3.
So it's like, I don't mind it so much. And I do think that one thing which Southgate does deserve a lot of credit for is how flawless the transitions between formations has been.
Yeah,
you can tell that he's really worked on it. And I think he does deserve credit for that.
It's good to have that in your locker, like you can move between 2 different forms. I mean, he's played 3 different formations, hasn't he, over the course of the tournament? I think he does deserve credit for that, in the fact that he can get them to perform. I mean, it was hard enough getting England to perform with one formation for the last 20 odd years. So to get 3 different formations, it is impressive. I personally don't mind. I think he probably will do that. He'll probably go for 3 at the back.
He'll match them.
Yeah, and they do pose a threat on the wings. So potentially he will do that. I'd imagine so. Yeah,
I think he will go for, and what Joe said there, I think you have to, obviously, 3 centre back will be Stones, Maguire, probably Kyle Walker, and then Trippier and Shaw as your wing backs. So stick with Rice and Phillips, because in front of that,
you can't change it too much. I know we've been criticising him, and I know like he's made some like controversial decisions during the tournament, but at the end of the day, we're unbeaten. We've not conceded a goal. Like, you can't change it too much. If you do, then it all backfires on you. Like, why have you made so many changes to the team?
So then
it all goes the other way for you. I think if we play with the confidence we did against Ukraine, I think the main the Ukraine game, we killed the game off too very early on. That early goal, because they didn't have any individuality to respond to that. They just had to play their system and hope that they could get back in.
Yeah, they were terrible going forward. I said it.
They always have been.
Game,
I
was like, going forward, outside of Yarmolenko, cutting in on his left foot and sticking it top bins, they had nothing.
They don't pose a threat, and it should have been the result that it was. So
they offer nothing.
Which is why I'm saying you can't get too overhyped by it.
I've said this though.
We can't just like, we're gonna win it now.
Yeah, they're doing what they said. The thing is, England minus the Germany, because I thought they would lose to Germany. Minus the Germany game, they've done everything you would expect, apart from the draw against Scotland. They've done everything they were supposed to.
Or did I not tell you when we were doing the Euro thing and the Germany game came up and I said I fancy us to beat Germany?
I just
and you were like, you're fully on this trade, aren't you?
You're fully on the coming home, Union Jack shorts the lot, fam. Let's go, innit, Stroh? You know what I'm saying, innit? You know what I'm saying? Big up Stroh and that. Face paint with the Union. That's you and Sophie and that. I was talking to Sophie there before. She's fully on the face paint, Union Jack shorts.
Let's just cut that off for a second. 1, I'm not in bed at all. Secondly, I don't look like Phil Mitchell. Don't even dare try and say that Union Jack shorts.
Got it in Union Jack shorts. It's clap. We don't judge here, Stro, in it. Here from a Fair Eye View at Pi Radio
And
is a safe place for
got
it.
a
It's
matching
okay.
shirt as well.
You are
man.
100% right. We
It's
don't
okay.
judge, which is why no one's judging you for singing "It's Coming Home" to me down the phone for 20 minutes.
Oh, this guy. All
England
right.
flag
Okay.
tattoo on the bottom of your back, yeah.
That's flawless. No, he's getting a "It's Coming Home" tattoo.
This guy, he's a comedian and that.
All
But yeah.
glazes in.
Glazers
yeah,
in.
oh,
I'll get
sure.
a Glazers in one.
Yeah, that's your lane. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool fans' lane. We will touch on that as well. People are the club like transfer rumors, etc., etc. Elijah Wayne in the chat because he says, "Flawless, when you're going to admit that you want England to win, to finally see Shaw, Rashford, and Maguire finally win something, big up the crew, big up to Wayne. You can catch him on my channel, other channels, Chelsea fan. He is fully like on the train. He's been telling me it's coming home from like before the group stages. He's fully invested. Shaw and Rashford have won trophies, but I hear what you're saying. I'm just watching as a neutral. I just want as much chaos as possible, as much drama as possible, because it makes for great viewing when it's not your team.
You haven't
still your
got a better chance to bring it home. No, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a few times where we said like we're in a golden generation now, but there's
Right,
always been like areas where, like in 2002, we had a great, like possibly the best defense.
2004 is the one for me. When you look at that Euro 2014, and you've got Ashley Cole, Terry, Campbell, Ferdinand, and then Gary Devil in his prime. David James, who was arguably one of the best keepers in England at the time. So it's like, even then, David James was a bit questionable, but then you've got Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham, Owen, Rooney. And I'm talking like this was...
Yeah, Rooney.
destroyed them Euros.
But we always lacked something on the left side in that era. That time, we always lacked down the left-hand side. Like, we tried everything on the left wing.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying is...
Trevor Sinclair.
If we had a revolutionary in terms of system, we could have gone three at the back. Ashley Cole left and back. And then you can play the midfield free.
Yeah.
Because you play one of them more advanced.
Yeah.
And then you still got Owen and Rooney up front.
That's just the game. That's just the game evolving, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, no, but this is
I
what
was
I'm
saying that at that time that England could have played if they really wanted to, they could have played a back three.
No, it's like the fact that you never played a midfield free with Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's criminal.
The fact
that is criminal.
The fact that Sven decided to put Scholes left mid when a 20-year-old Steven Gerrard and a Paul Scholes went away to Germany in 2001 and won the game 5-1, and Gerrard was man of the match. And you move Scholes to left mid and you bring Lampard in when he's a similar type of player. Oh, word. Like, this is why England were never going to do anything.
Managers.
It's actually poor at how bad England have been mismanaged over the years.
Facts.
And then it's like, you look at Southgate, he's doing the basics right, which is what you need to do. You're playing players in their positions. That's a start. And it's like, yeah, his in-game substitutions at times are absolutely awful, and his game management at times is awful. However, the setup that he's approached this Euros with in a tournament football, which is why I said if Mourinho decided to do it, I think he'd win trophies with Portugal, because this is the perfect setup for him.
Oh, yeah.
No, I disagree, mate. I don't think he...
You don't think Mourinho would win trophies?
I don't think he would at all.
It's literally what Southgate's doing, but Mourinho was a master at it.
I think the problem is with international football, I think the high-profile managers are more suited to it than the lesser known. Yeah, no, but you say Mourinho would win trophies with
because
Portugal.
Of the system. Greece have won it. Portugal.
The tournament football style of play.
We've gone to a semi-final with it.
The tournament style of play that Mourinho, the defensive-minded style of play that Mourinho plays, where he controls the game in the sense that he doesn't concede. Yeah, I agree with. As a manager, though, I don't think Mourinho would be an overly successful manager with Portugal.
No, but I'm talking about.
Not
necessarily Portugal. I'm talking about just
the way that he plays. The way that he plays football. The
style of play that if Mourinho's doing that, it's successful.
Yeah, we've had this conversation because we were talking about him taking over a South American nation, so not necessarily a Brazil,
for example,
like a Uruguay or something like that.
And even for example, if he took over at Belgium, they are suited to a back three. They are. And for example, you've got midfielders there which would be very defensive. He would be able to set them up in a specific way where they would not concede hardly any goals.
It makes sense.
And they've still got going forward the attacking players that are De Bruyne that can pull something out of the hat. If Mourinho was managing Italy right now, no one would bat an eyelid.
Yeah, 100%. I get what you're saying with that. And he doesn't give him, because it's only a short amount of time he's with him.
There's no time.
You can't really fall out with
that's
people.
My point.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really. So I get what you're saying. I think Mourinho is definitely more suited. We've had this discussion. He's definitely more suited to international football than he is club football. Yeah. Mourinho of now we're talking about.
Tactically, personality-wise, I don't agree. I think.
Yeah, but that's what we were saying. He's not going to have that much time with them in terms of where he'll really explode and it'll really blow up in his face.
I can fall out with someone, but it won't be too bad.
Let's say, for example, he has the same. As a Portugal manager, he has the same rift or controversy that he's had with Luke Shaw at Man United. When you're an international manager, you can't go out and get something better. You have to go. If you've got your first choice and you have an issue with that person, you have to go to a lower standard of player to replace them, and that will cause issues within your team.
I agree, but at the same time, I think Mourinho really picks his fights and battles in terms of trying to get a reaction out of the board to get what he wants. So I think in international football, he'll know that he won't be able to just buy someone because he's not happy with him. So I don't think those riffs, the Danny Rose incident, the Luke Shaw.
He knows. He'll know what to like. He's smart enough to know. Like I said, I think international football does suit him much more now than club football. Because when he's at a club and he's around players for a long period of time, he's going to fall out with somebody as we've seen.
When he's at a club, he's got an expectation. I want certain transfers.
Yes.
I want the final sign-off on transfers. Yep. I want these transfers. The Jerome Boateng, for example, he wanted another left-back to replace Luke Shaw. Yep. And when he didn't get him, he threw them players under the bus.
Facts.
He won't be able to do that at Portugal at an international stage. So he's, like Bizzo said, and he's 100% right, he is stuck with what he's got because he's not going to be able to get someone better because it's always going to be lower than the one that's currently playing. However, I don't think he would do that because his thing has always been around transfers. Always. He always stinks up the room when it comes to transfers. Yes. I want this. This player's not good enough. The reason why this player's not good enough is because he's lazy. Because what he wants to transfer and he wants his own way.
You're not going to see
that issue. Because there's no transfers in international football, so then I think he would be better suited.
Yeah, because you have to utilize, like to your point, you have to utilize what you have, so you can't throw players under the bush. There's no demand that kills all of that dead.
Yeah.
There's no demand with the board, like go and get me this. This is what you have. Utilize it. You know what I'm saying? And that's simple what it is. It takes away that whole issue, and that is one of his major points. And you're not going to see him calling players out and things of that nature. It's still well to an extent, but it'll be nowhere near as much. Like, of course, Mourinho, he's going to find a way. Like. You know what he's like, 100%. So, what we saying then? England, Denmark.
You've got to fancy England. Because if England don't win this...
Who do you think will win?
England.
So, you got England, Italy final. All right, Bizzo.
I got England, Spain final. I think this game should be pretty straightforward for England in terms of...
Okay.
I don't think they pose as much as a threat as I think it's a similar level of threat up front than that Ukraine have.
Yeah,
in the sense that they don't have a talismanic player now to really take the game to you, and there's no one really outstanding in the squad. I think they're a team of good players, and they've obviously got a lot of good harmony, and they're on the emotional roller coaster, aren't they? But I think this is where it stops.
Really carried them a lot.
I did not expect them to do as well as they've done to get as far as this, but in the same time, they've beaten Wales and they've beaten Czech Republic. We've beaten Czech Republic, and Wales were terrible in the tournament. So I think it has been over. The spotlight's been on them. For that.
So you got England, you got England, Spain, you have England, Italy. I've been baffling. I legit don't know. But I think these are both 50-50. I think they are both 50. Yeah, I think they're both 50-50. I think so, yeah. I don't look at that England team because of Southgate. That's why. If England had a competent manager, I'm saying England all day. Southgate, at some point, all the reasons you was talking about is in-game management, I think will cost it. And momentum's a big thing in these tournaments. Is there anyone with more momentum than Denmark? Considering everything that happened and add on the fact they lost their first 2 games as well. There's a momentum shift within that camp because when what happened to Eriksen, you go one of 2 ways. Either you go up or it affects you and you go down. They was down and out. 2 games, we lost their first 2 opening 2 games. Like it's very hard to get out of the group, but not only have they won, they've won playing well. They've won, you can see them, but there's a big momentum shift with them. Massive momentum shift.
I don't think they played well against Czech Republic though. I wasn't very impressed with.
What was the score?
2-1.
Was it Denmark played with the ball outside of his foot?
When was the Christensen strike? What game was that? Which
that
Denmark?
Was in the,
that was Russia, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
was that the group stage game.
Pummeled the last group game, yeah.
Have a look.
So I just think the momentum's with them. That's what that is. So that's why I put it as 50-50 because, yes, do England have a better team than Denmark? Yes. But all the reasons you said there about Southgate is in-game management. What happens if Denmark go a goal
This
up?
is
Does he
what
go
I was
for
just
it?
about to say. Like that's not happened in the tournament where we've gone a goal down and we've had to react. If Germany scored first against us, how would we have reacted?
That's my issue.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying about Southgate. That is my biggest concern.
Yes, and all the reasons you said there is why I think this game's. I think he's the factor. If they have if England have a quality manager in charge or competent, because I don't rate Southgate like that highly, I'm favouring England. But because of Southgate, I can see him getting key decisions wrong at times. So when the game's shifting and the momentum's with Denmark, he's not.
It would be interesting if we went.
And if they go a goal down, will he go for it? Is he gonna go? Is he gonna not have two holding midfielders on the pitch with 20 minutes to go? I'm not sure. Will he take off Rice and Phillips to chase the game to get into a final? Yeah. Will he just throw all the attacking players on?
It'd be interesting to see what his actual tactics are when we go a goal down or when we need to respond, because we haven't been put in that position for a very long time.
And I think he'll just revert back to type and just be pragmatic. I don't see him going for it.
There's always a what's the word? There's always a psychological thing with England. Is when we go a goal down in knockout football, it's always here we go.
Here we go again, because
it'll be the same. It'll always be the same until we actually get over the line and win something.
But a lot of
and that's what it is. I just see England doing that, whether it's the semi-final or the final. That's why I don't think it's coming home, because I can just see whether it's the semi-final or the final, England losing in that. Oh, here we go again moment.
But this is my point is, for example, if England go a goal down and you've got Kyle Walker in the position that he's in and the ball's played back to him and you've got to whip it first time because that's the only time you're going to get it.
You are dying for a first time Walker ball in, aren't you?
No,
I'm going to keep a close eye on that if he does play right back.
Ryan Howe.
And how many times have you seen us get goals from it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get it.
You don't give defenders or keepers time to set. Once a defender sets his feet and he knows the ball's coming in, if it's a Collini or Bonucci, you ain't beating them in the air. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So you've got to catch these teams by surprise, and the only way you're going to do that, and this is why City have so many goals scored by it. That's why you see De Bruyne's drifted off to the right-hand side, cut back, first time, straight into the channel where the keeper can't come out, defenders can't defend it. There's Aguero. There's Jesus.
Hopefully, though, if he goes with the right tactics and plays Trippier there, then it shouldn't be that much of a problem.
And that's the key there. What you just said there, from the start all the way during, he has to get a lot right over these two games. So in terms of starting lineups, style, substitutes, watching the game, momentum shifting. What happens if reacting if they go a goal down, or what happens if it goes to extra time? How does he? I just don't see Southgate getting all of those things right.
I think the Denmark game we will. However, my biggest worry is the final. What do you think?
I was just going to say, I've been very impressed with Shaw in this tournament in terms of what you were saying, in terms of his balls in and getting into the space on the channels and finding a man in the box and getting his assists. And it needs to be replicated on the other side of the pitch. And against a team like Denmark, you'd expect a Trippier to be able to manage to do that, or a Reece James to be able to do it.
If you look, it's so heavily weighted on Shaw's side. Like, for example, the goal against...
Oh, yeah. I think they all came from that side.
The two goals against Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
All come down that side.
Yeah.
So the first one he puts in for Sterling, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
The second one, he's the one who nicks the ball on the halfway line and sets up the attack. So that was phenomenal, right? And then you look at his run in terms of the Ukraine game where you see him on the overlap and he's busting a gut to get there. And it's like, you look on the other side, you don't see Kyle Walker doing that. And this isn't me trying to single out Kyle Walker, it is, but listen, right? If you watch, Kyle Walker is happy to get rid of that ball as quick as he can. So you looked at how many times he had the chance to run into the space and he doesn't do it. Sure does. Because then that creates space for Sterling on that side. If Walker decides to run into the space and he gets doubled up, where's Sancho? Free.
I get your point.
Pop the ball into him. This is why Liverpool works so well, because we've got Trent and Salah. Trent will run with the ball. Then what happens? Salah then drifts into the space. Yeah. He'll knock the ball around the corner, or he'll put the ball straight in, and there's Mane on the overlap.
Yeah,
Sterling could do the exact same thing because he's used to it with City. Yeah. And it's like, this is why, and this is no joke, Cancelo has been playing over Kyle Walker because he has the ability to cross the ball and pass a ball more than 5 yards.
Yeah. But then that just it always reverts back. The more we talk about it, always reverts back to the defensive mind. His priorities.
Kyle Walker's not great defensively, though. This is my other point. He's a penalty waiting to happen.
Why is he in the squad?
Exactly my point.
Get him out.
I get
Where's
what you're
James
saying.
Tarkowski when you want him?
Yeah, James Tucker, Ben
How
White.
much is it?
Yeah. But we move. Now I get what you're saying. Because it has been a tournament of shocks. So most people I spoke to have been like, yeah, it's England, Italy. That's the one I get the majority of the time.
Shot because there's been so many
So
shocks. You're
shocks. I'm expecting it. Yeah, Spain, Denmark.
yeah.
So you know me very well. I'm expecting a Spain Denmark final because everybody is saying, well, not everybody, but most people I've spoken to. Obviously, you said that Bizzo about England, Spain, but most people I've spoken to have been with Strong, been like England, Italy. Like people have been mapping out, already analysing that final and how Italy do against England.
I'm with you though in the sense that I think there's a shock, but I think it's on the other side. I think Spain will come into their own a little bit. I think Spain are more the chemistry and with the ball is better than Belgium's, and I think they'll be able to knock it around a little bit better and they'll get a bit more freedom and they should get a couple more chances. It's whether or not they can be clinical in front of goal.
Got Morata.
Yeah, when you got Morata.
But Morata did score that banger. That was a banger, that goal. Who was it against? I can't remember what game it was. He scored a banger.
Was it in extra time?
Yeah, the extra time, yeah.
Don't you dare sit there and say, hey, what? Talking about Alvaro Morata, that he's missed 9 out of 10 chances. The one chance that he scores is suddenly a worldie. Suddenly we're talking about him like he's playing with a tournament.
He's the Spanish
I'm just saying it was a worldie. That's all I'm saying.
I don't care.
I can't believe that he scored. I'm still in shock.
I've seen Igor Biscan score worldies. Don't you dare sit there and talk to me about.
Put some respect on Igor. No, I can't even do that. I'm not even that shameless. I ain't about to do that.
I do think Denmark's run comes to an end though. That's how I.
So you're saying England, Spain. You're saying England early, and I'm saying because it's just been a tournament of shocks and unexpected.
Do you know the story about Denmark winning the Euros?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's mental, isn't it?
It's one of the best
crazy story
you'll ever hear in football.
Hey, tell it for the people because we got younger viewers in it, so you might as well tell it for the people.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go on, Bizzo.
Well, there was if I'm right in recalling it, there was a civil war broke out in Yugoslavia, which obviously led to the countries all splitting up and being what they're known as now. And then Denmark players, but they hadn't qualified for the tournament. And they were all on the beach on holiday, and they got called in as a last-minute replacement. And they had 1 week to train together, and then they ended up winning the tournament.
There you go.
Yeah, because Denmark weren't even meant to be in it. They didn't qualify, but because, like you said, Yugoslavia broke up, and then they split into, as you know, Russia and teams like that. Do you know what I mean? Denmark got called up. And not only did they get called up, like you said, a lot of them were on holiday pre-season on the beach, drinking beer. Peter Schmeichel just chilling out. And then they come and win the Euros. And then they didn't even qualify, and then they went on and won it.
Won the Euros. But that's what it is. Like I said, because it's just been a tournament of shocks, I'm just going with the 2 shocks. So I think that would probably be the most shocking final in regards to the semi-final. I don't think anybody bar me has predicted a Spain-Denmark final. Like everyone, like I said, has been talking about England, Italy, and how England will cope with Italy, how Italy cope with England, what tactically the England change, how the Italy approach it, etc., etc. So I'm saying is we get shocks in both sides. Yeah. That's what I would say. I don't think they're that far apart.
I can only see them having a chance on pens. That's the only way I can see it. Is if it's a really stubborn game and it goes to extra time and we still can't break them down. But Czech Republic managed to break them down, and they're a very bang average team, and they were 2 third-place teams. Let's not forget, Denmark lost the first 2 games, so we've got all the momentum. I just personally think their story comes to an end now, and they can hold their heads up high, get into the semi-finals.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, no one expected
getting through the groups an achievement in itself with what happened there. I'd be shocked if
getting to where they have with everything that happened with Eriksen, the ticket. I don't think we'll see a team in this Euros with more togetherness than them.
No.
And
that's going to something like that. Somebody potentially losing their life. That
was
the worst thing I've ever watched on live TV. Though.
Fortunately enough, I wasn't. I was out and then got back and I heard about it.
But it was Andy Robertson that tweeted, "This is the picture for the Euros. This is a team. This is togetherness." When you've got players that are linking arms to prevent any cameras, any TV cameras zooming in on Eriksen, because you knew that's what they were doing. And it's BBC caught a lot of flack for it. And it was actually UEFA who sanctioned the pictures, and even BBC were trying to get it to go to the studio when no one was listening at UEFA, which is a shock.
UEFA.
But it's like, and then you zoom in on his wife and she's breaking her heart, and then you see Kasper Schmeichel, and I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, to go through what Kasper Schmeichel's gone through. With Vichai, with the helicopter crash, and he's running to the scene trying to help him drag people out of the helicopter. Christian Eriksen, did you see how composed that man was when his wife was there? And obviously you got Simon Kjaer, who actually got him in a position, made sure his tongue wasn't swollen and stuff like that, and that saved his life. And everything that Denmark had been through as a unit in this Euros, genuinely, if it wasn't England, I'd love to see them get to the final. Even though it is England, like if they beat us, I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
as
you can't
gutted
really be
because
too
it's
mad at it,
Denmark.
can you? That's the thing.
So it's like,
Because then you'd be like, right, go on and win it now.
yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like a no-win situation for England. Like you're expected to win. However, I wouldn't I'd love to see Denmark.
You'll be
go and
fine
win it.
for a minute. You got the red and white face paint already. So you get me? You just put more
Put it on
red.
the-
You get me?
put it on
And
the
then
other
you'll
way
be right.
round.
There you go. The other way round. There you go. Innit? There you go. Strong, man. Innit? Change up the Union Jack shorts. You know what I'm saying? And you good. The English. You good to go. You know what I'm saying?
I'll get you a Christensen shirt.
Yeah. There we go. You know
Oh
what I'm
wait.
saying?
Whoa, speaking of that,
Go on.
Lewis.
Oh yeah,
Lewis.
salute to Carefree Lewis. For those that don't know, he's one of the biggest Chelsea YouTubers out here. Big up my bro Lewis every single time.
Does he put himself in the AC penitentiary if Denmark go out?
That's a great point. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him that. Yeah, that's a fantastic
Tell
point.
him Stroh asked
Yeah,
if England go through, because he was talking about putting the whole country in the AC penitentiary.
yeah, that's true.
Does he put himself in that penitentiary?
Yeah, he probably put himself on the Legends wing with Hazard. That's what he'll probably do. That's why Hazard's in there on the Legends
I know,
wing.
I
So
see.
that's what he'll do.
It's just so.
So for those that don't know, Lewis has he's part of the AC Hive, which is the Andreas Christensen Hive, and every time Christensen gets a clean sheet against any attack, like any team or any top team,
but not even
he'll
a clean
put-
sheet though. Like there's
he'll-
times where they've conceded goals and he's still putting teams
yeah,
in there.
and he'll put in, he's got the whole PG, and he'll just put players in there.
Yeah, so it's like a whole prison, yeah, and he'll
Yeah.
like get Salah, put him really slow, and put him in there. It's like welcome to the AC
Yep.
penitentiary, but it's like for every team.
Every
that
team,
Christensen
so like
plays, it's
Salah,
Real
Firmino,
Madrid.
Mane are all in. All the
yeah,
Real Madrid players are in there.
Benzema, Hazard, but he's
Yeah.
on the Legends wing.
Hazard's
It's
on the
like-
Legends wing with Henny. You know what I'm saying? He's got a Henny bottle with him.
But it's like I'll find the picture. It's like I love him to death. It's actually
Love to
phenomenal.
Lewis.
Like
Big
how
up to
much-
Lewis every
How
time.
much has gone into it because there's so many players in there.
Commitment.
Where's
And
he
you know,
put Kyle Walker? Is he in there?
he only puts attacking players in
Yeah,
there.
attacking
Literally.
players, because obviously Christian's a defender, but it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
He puts
Like, let me
attacking
find
players
it.
in there. And you know what's crazy as well? There's been spin-offs of that. Like I've seen so many
Yeah,
penitentiaries.
so have I, because
now
of Lewis,
because of
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Like he trendsetted with that. He was the
Innovative.
trendsetter. He was the trendsetter. But yeah, before we move on to that and obviously go into transfer rumors, one player I do want to talk about for England specifically is Raheem Sterling, and someone again who to me receives the criticism he receives is so over the top and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
Ah, it's disgusting.
Bear in
Crazy.
mind, in the group stages, he was the only player who scored for England. Bear in mind, he scored the first goal against Germany. Bear in mind, at one point, I think he scored 75% of England's goals. And I think open play goals, you two correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's been involved in all of them. Every open
Yeah,
play
did
goal.
Did you see it?
Go on.
So a couple of years ago, when certain newspapers, which I refuse to mention
Yeah.
for obvious reasons,
Mhm.
came out with the story that Raheem Sterling's got a gun tattooed on his leg,
Oh,
Yes.
and everyone's it's insensitive. He's a role model. It's this. It's that. It's
Yep.
disgusting, etc., etc. And then you see the reasons why, and yet not one of them have apologized.
Yep.
And then you see Saka after his great performance against Germany,
Mhm.
and then you see the newspapers there and how they reported the fact that he's got a £3 million house,
What's that got to do with anything?
I know.
and
like,
then you see Phil Foden with the Mason Greenwood situation when they were
Mhm.
both caught.
Both
However,
got.
one got more flack than the other.
Yes.
And it's no surprise that the person that got more flack is unfortunately a person of colour.
Yep.
And it's just like the deep rooted racism in the newspapers is actually sickening. And then you see Flex go through what he went through with that newspaper article
Yes.
and that reporter, and it's like, come on now. Like
Yeah.
for Raheem Sterling to one, and let's be honest, he didn't have a great season. He was poor.
No, he didn't have a great season. No.
But to see him bounce back in the way that he has,
Yeah.
and to be England's talisman now, I genuinely think he's been.
he kind of
obviously-
took it on himself, though, didn't it? Like you can tell, like he's driven himself
But it's like-
in this tournament.
Apart from Shaw and Maguire over the past couple of games, coming out of the group stages, the two best players for England were Calvin Phillips and Sterling. Sterling was phenomenal.
He was
Calvin
the best.
Phillips with some of his
And
performances.
what the thing is with because what people try to get out to Sterling about is, oh, he hasn't been great. And do I believe his overall play has been great? No.
because
But
there's times where he's seriously.
He has been the attacking player he's the only attacking player who was scoring goals. So therefore, you take away his goals, England are not in a semi-final, and people can't seem to fathom this. So if he's been bad, what's Kane been? What's Foden been? What's Saka been? Grealish has been bright in his cameos. What's Mount done? Even the 4-0 against Ukraine, I don't think Mount was that incredible. But because it's Sterling,
Mount's been
it's all about it's all about his overall play. But Kane scores and it's all hail Harry Kane and that side. No. take away, Sterling has been England's best player. But yeah, I see the criticism, and you're talking about the newspapers, and that filters into social media as well. Because anytime I mention Sterling, someone will pop up and have something negative to say. He was very good against Ukraine. The pass he played into Kane for the first goal was incredible. It was a great pass.
Yeah,
that was a great pass.
Yeah.
If that's
De Bruyne,
that's De Bruyne, we're having a whole different conversation, and that's something not associated with Sterling. I didn't know he could do that. The pass was very good. I was like,
balance as well. The weight of pass
quite out two defenders, because if he overhits it, the keeper gets there. If he underhits it, the defender cuts it out. He has to play it with the correct amount of pace on it for Harry Kane to be able to score first time. Even the flick to Shaw, and Shaw crossed it in for Kane. This the flick from Sterling again. People talk about his intelligence. That's intelligence to play a backheel flick to Shaw on the overlap.
Yeah, but it's like even his goal against Germany, he's the one who starts the play by running at them.
Yes.
He runs past Rudiger and he drives into the middle of the pitch. Right. Then he plays the 1-2. Then he gets himself in the position to tap the ball in. Like, Sterling has carried his England team through the group stages.
For me, it's more up for all the flack he receives for him to play with such confidence.
Yes.
Where if you're under such an amount of pressure from your own tabloids in your own country and your own supporters, and why is he in the team? He's played awful this season, and to actually put these performances in, I think that's even more of like an emphasised credit that he deserves, because he's managed to pull performances out at a time where he's been criticised the most, and the spotlight's on him, and all for the wrong reasons as well, like irrelevant reasons to do with football, and he can manage to take it out onto the pitch and replicate with great performances. And it's not just one, it's like he's done it, arguably he's been one of our best players every single game that we've played in the tournament.
100%. And even though he's not been great, that's more testament to, that shows more about England's attacking players, because England have a lot of attacking players they're all talented. I rate them all at different levels, but I think there's all talent, and nobody's excelled. Nobody for England, to me, has been great this tournament.
I feel as an attacking player, you can only be phenomenal in periods. You can't have a 90 minutes of full on. He's played exceptional.
He's played 9 out of 10 for the whole entire game.
I think
you need the ball.
Yeah,
yes.
I think you have to accept that attacking players will play in stages. They'll play of the game. They'll play phenomenal, or stages they might play poor, and then you base it off. You base it off an overall at the end.
So I just wanted to get on that, because I'm like, the criticism he's received.
No, he doesn't deserve it.
Bear in mind, he scored 2 winners. He scored the first goal against Germany also. So he's basically scored 3 winners to get England to a semi-final.
And he deserves plaudits for that. He doesn't deserve even more negative spotlight on him to take away from the fact he's done that, which in most cases that happens quite a lot.
100%. Absolute nonsense. The criticism he receives. Nonsense. Like I said, if that's him, we got to criticize Kane and everybody else, or the other attacking players.
Yep.
But let's get into some club football, because a lot's been going on. Ravi here says, we'll go to you. We'll go to you two being Liverpool fans. What's the talk that Liverpool and Chelsea want Danny Ings? So this is the first I'm hearing from it. But let's act as if there's some.
It's not the first I've heard of it, because I told you before we even came on air.
And I'm not happy about it.
All right, let's go. Let's go there. Let's go. Why are you unhappy about Danny Ings?
When we were linked with, when we signed him initially on a free from Burnley, and we got him for, it was 9 million, the compensation we had to pay in the end for him. 8, yeah, steal. But following on from that, he's had numerous amounts of injuries. And when Danny Ings gets injured, it's not for a week. It's not for he's not got like a dead leg for 4 days. He's literally out for months at a time.
Yeah.
And for a Liverpool squad who's just coming off the back of a highly injured side,
he was injury hit this season.
The one thing you'd go into the transfer market with is how many games has this player played, and how many games has he been out injured for? Now, he's a good striker, don't get me wrong, and when he's put in front of goal, you would say you can take his chances. However, we need a different kind of dimension for our number 9 than any other team. And it's not a case of us signing a number 9 that's going to be like a poacher in front of goal. Our number 9 does a lot of link-up play and feeds the wings, and the goals predominantly come from the wing play. So I don't think he fits our style of playing. I think it would be crazy to go back for a player that Klopp's already let leave. And I know Klopp let him leave for first-team football, and he's going to come back and he's not going to get first-team football. So it just doesn't, none of it adds up for me. Chelsea, could he fit in at Chelsea? Yeah, potentially. I think.
Yes, Chelsea need a striker.
Yeah.
He fits in there perfectly. He scores goals there. But the injury point you made there is a great point. But yes, at Chelsea he fits in. At Liverpool, I think he fits in too. The worry is it's not on the pitch, it's off the pitch. If he gets injured, how long is he going to be out
It's a
for? 'Cause
while. It's
he gets
usually a
injured
while,
at months on the end. Still, he does. What's your thoughts on this, Joker? I know you're a fan of Danny Ings.
I've got a soft spot for Danny Ings. I never wanted to see him go in the first place because he's a great backup.
Yeah.
My question is like Biz said, is his injury record is awful. Even when he was at us, he had 2 ACLs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He did his ACL, came back, played one game, and joined that game, did his ACL again against Tottenham. So it's like, what kind of fee are we talking? Yeah, he's got 1 year on his contract, but if he's a backup and it's 5-6, it's not going to be 5-6 million. It's going to be more closer to the 15-20.
Yeah, they're going to want 15-20. And like, what's the point?
Like, why are you paying 15-20 for someone that's got an injury record like that when you can go and get? But at the same time, are we going to get a better backup? I'm just playing devil's advocate. Are we going to get a better backup with Premier League experience that knows Klopp's system, that doesn't really have to learn Klopp's system, that can kind of hit the ground running as a backup? Arguably not, but the injury record scares me. Like, it terrifies me because you've seen how injury ravaged we were last season. Can't afford that again.
And he's not going to be training with the intensity that he has at Southampton. It would be a completely different level at Liverpool, and that makes it worse.
And that's what I mean. So it's like, it is worrying. However, I know Klopp did a thing where he would change the training methods for Sturridge. So you could potentially see that, but then it's like, you're then having to compensate for a player, so it doesn't make any sense.
But then Sturridge didn't last much longer after that happened anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He lasted 2 years?
Bro, last time Sturridge played last time I watched Sturridge play live, it was against Leeds in the Carling Cup or the FA Cup, and he ran for a ball in the corner, and it was like watching him run through a swimming pool of caramel. It was absolutely awful.
A swimming pool of caramel.
It was awful.
Jeez.
But this is my point. It's a concern and it's a worry. It's a big worry, especially with his injury record. If it happens,
there's better players out there.
Would it be too harsh? Probably not.
You've got to go for a young, eager person who wants to take
Did
you.
you see him?
I did watch Doku. I was very impressed. Again, it's one game, so I haven't seen too much of him. But that one game, I was very impressed.
You know how long we've been linked with this kid?
Years.
Like years.
He's playing in League One, isn't he?
Go and get him.
No, he plays for.
Is it not a French team?
Is it Rennes?
He used to be at Anderlecht.
Why am I thinking Rennes? I'm going to check now.
I know Doku. He was initially. I swear he was at Bruges.
Yeah, I was right. Rennes. Yeah, he's at Rennes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at Rennes.
But he was at Anderlecht, and he was available for quite cheap, and it was surprising that he went there.
Right. But Rennes that'll be the next step. Someone else. But I've only seen him in that one game because I'd never heard of him beforehand, and I was like,
yeah, we got linked.
I was highly impressed
because he's got a very good record for Belgium. He scored a lot of goals for Belgium.
He's direct. That's what I like about him as well.
He's
and he was
fearless,
and he was taking responsibility when they were playing Italy.
That's what
I kept saying, get the ball to him.
Yeah,
he won the penalty. He looked the brightest. He did look the brightest.
That's what I'm saying. So back up on the left hand side for Mane, I would, because it gives him time to grow, gives him time to develop. You can then start to give him up because the African Cup of Nations is coming.
True that.
You know that we're going
to. We have to buy another wide player because we're going to lose both of them in.
And then that's my point. He is perfect.
We're still on the fence about Olympics, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So it's like for Liverpool, he's perfect. However, we'll come back onto Liverpool transfer talk. PSG, they're now linked with Pogba.
Yeah, I was going to get to that because that's what it said.
Have you seen their business that they've done this summer?
So yeah, Javi did say what's the Flores and the panel? What's the talk with Pogba to PSG? PSG, obviously, Poch is there. They got big money, and now he's trying to build his team. As you've seen, they've signed Ramos.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, they've got Donnarumma in. They've got Hakimi in. They've signed Wijnaldum.
Yeah, Ramos has signed. Hakimi's just been confirmed. We've got Wijnaldum there now.
So they're going to a back three.
In that.
I mean, you changed that like for a few years ago when they're signing like Ander Herrera and Idrissa Gana Gay. They're actually going out and making a statement.
We can touch on this, and you've seen a different side of Wijnaldum this Euros. How often does Wijnaldum lose the ball?
No.
Imagine Pogba next to him.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
With Neymar and potentially Mbappe, PSG are going to struggle, and this is why I'm so frustrated with Liverpool.
You're laughing. Don't worry about it.
Liverpool are the only club in England where their kit deal actually means we genuinely get a percentage of every sale. Every sale. We could genuinely go and buy Mbappe tomorrow, and we would recoup it in 48 hours with shirt sales.
And they pay his wages for a year.
He is available now. Because otherwise, PSG lose him on a free. He
Yep.
is not signing a new deal.
Something's
Why
going
are
on.
we stalling?
Something's going on, bro. I think it's. I genuinely think Liverpool have genuine interest in him.
No, we do, and this is why I'm getting so annoyed with it.
I've said this so many times. I say it on every stream that I ever do. Yeah, like there isn't a better time to sign an absolute marquee world beater player than
For that cheap
Mbappe now.
as well.
Because it's like, with the greatest respect, United signed Sancho. That's a game changer for them.
Yes.
They get Varane. That's a game changer for them.
Yeah.
We get Mbappe. That trumps everything.
Yeah. It's a game changer.
Do it.
And there's no better time to do it now when all the French papers are on his back and saying like how bad he was for France
And he
stuff.
needs a fresh start. He wants
Yeah.
away from PSG.
He does.
He's already said that he's a massive fan of Klopp.
Yeah.
You've got the whole LeBron James and Mbappe clothing coming out soon.
Mhm.
He's already said that he'd love to play for Klopp. Your kit deal means you can recoup the money in 48 hours.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nike just said we'll
I'd
pay
buy
his, wa- we'll
5
pay
of
his
him
wages.
for crying out loud.
Yeah, you could
I'd
put
buy
a lot.
you 5. Just bring him.
Have we got this recorded? Because
Yeah.
I want this writing down. Five,
This is going live right now.
five Liverpool shirts of Mbappe.
Has
signed.
to be the yellow one though. I love that
Is
yellow
it?
kit.
Well,
5 stuff to clean your
I'm a
window with
size
people.
large,
Very
mate.
move.
That's fine.
Cool.
That is fine. If we got Mbappe, I would not bat an eye. I would buy it.
I ain't doing. I just let you know if Liverpool do sign Mbappe, yeah, from a fair eye view is taking an extended break. That's what I'm saying.
Furlough.
I'm not putting me on furlough. I'm not putting up with them getting
Furlough.
one of the players who I love. Like I'm a massive fan of Kylian Mbappe. Anyone who has heard me talk knows how highly I speak of him. But the fact that PSG could lose him, I think they'll sort that out. Even if he signs a new deal and they're like, all right, give us this one season and we'll let you go next season.
He completely declined. He said, I'm
He's
not
declined.
even doing that. That's what I'm saying.
They
So
got to
it's-
sell him.
so
Someone's
it's
going to go in for him.
So it's either he goes on a free
Imagine how free for
next
Mbappe.
summer, or he goes this summer. Now, from the reports that I'm reading, the only 2 clubs that financially will be able to pull this off are Real Madrid and Liverpool. In terms of City, won't do it because,
Yeah, they'll fall back when it gets to a certain price. Yeah.
and this is what I'm saying. Liverpool are in prime position. No, not financially because I know City can.
Yeah.
But the 2 clubs that he's most interested in, Real Madrid and Liverpool, his dreams to always play for Real Madrid.
He fits Real Madrid. I've said this.
However,
He's a typical Galactico
Yes.
signing.
that's what,
That's the
he
that's
is
the thing.
he is a Ronaldo signing from when they got him from
Yeah.
Milan. Like he's that kind of signing for
Yeah.
them. But he's got a love for Liverpool, which is genuine, and you see it with when he's playing FIFA and he's playing with Liverpool.
The problem is with Mbappe, right? As a Liverpool fan, there is. I
He's been
say
there
this
for
all the
about 3 or
time.
4 years.
You will not be able to be in this position with him ever again. The next contract he signs, he's signing a 5-6 year deal, which will take him through to
And that's my
27,
point.
and then he'll be available for 300-400 million at the end of the contract. And it's just
And
we'll
this-
never ever go. We'll
not getting-
never
and
stump
this
up
is
400
my
I can't
point.
believe that
for a player.
PSG, this is bad business by them to let a player of that caliber get into the last year of his
But
contract.
then it makes sense why you see them making the moves that they're making.
Yeah, that's a terrible. Like something went wrong there. Whoever's negotiating for them, that's gone wrong.
I
You don't-
see Mbappe as like the next Thierry Henry of the Premier League era.
And
That's
this
how
is
I'd
my
like to.
point.
That's
I
how
get what
I
you're
view
saying.
him, yeah.
FSG, you have the chance to resave so many relationships just by bringing Mbappe in. And this is no like
John Henry's listening to this, isn't
The
he?
amount
I
of
can see him in the
flaky
chat.
listen,
John Henry's in the
I
chat.
will email him personally. Honestly, we need Mbappe.
No,
We
you
need a
don't.
player like that.
No, I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that. Yes, big up Ola in the building also, we saying, man.
Hey, come
But
on.
yeah, we don't need that in the Premier. As much as I'd like to see him in the Premier League, it's like for Liverpool, no.
What
Them go
team
Real
would you accept seeing him at?
Preferably Manchester United. You could have probably guessed that one.
Other than Manchester
Over
United.
than that.
He ain't gonna say, he'd say Newcastle. I know,
Yeah.
like genuinely, because he wants
Villa.
Liverpool. He wants Liverpool to get relegated. He wants
course,
Leeds
man.
to get relegated. He wants
course.
Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea to get relegated.
Yeah, 100%.
He ain't never gonna say a top squad. He would genuinely say West Ham. No,
Yeah.
he'd say West Brom. Wherever Sam Allardyce is, there.
Hey, Burnley in it. Why not
See
Sean
what I mean?
Dyche in it?
That's
Let's go
my
in it.
point.
That's a
See my
prime
point.
example.
I have
This is my point.
actually read that Mbappe is a fan of Dyche's style of play.
There we go in it.
That is a
Barnes, Wood,
full
Mbappe. That is a
blown
quality
lie.
front three.
That is
Barnes, Wood,
absolute lie.
Mbappe one side, McNeil the other.
Because Sean
Barnes
Dyche
off
isn't a
Wood.
fan of Sean Dyche's style of play.
McNeil whipping them balls into Mbappe. off on
Mbappe,
the
serious
left-hand
on a
side.
cold Tuesday night at Turf Moor.
Just
Turf
imagine,
Moor.
just imagine this in a parallel
Wooden
universe.
seats.
No, actually, that is scary.
Killian linking up with Ashley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chris Wood
And Chris.
knocked down.
Knocked down.
Put
We're a
it
long
onto it.
ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Big
Chris Wood
chest,
knocking it on.
big chest down to
Mbappe on
Mbappe.
the shoulder, flick on him behind. Oh,
Eric Peters with a long cross pass into the box. Get your head on
See,
this.
see, whenever I hear the Burnley players' names, I just think back to that
JV
conversation with
comment.
JV.
Yeah. JV hilarious. Yeah. Oh, geez. But yeah, Mbappe, where would that, like, obviously, all jokes aside, as a football fan, I'd love to see him in the Premier League.
It's,
Obviously, as a United fan, I'd love to see him at United, but to see a player of that caliber week in, week out would be fantastic.
It's a mad time transfer wise because you never get in this position where you
Yeah.
see these
And
massive
It's
it's
crazy
players.
though. There's a lot of players who are going because we spoke about that. Pogba's deal's up in a year's time. Mbappe's deal's up in a year's time. There's a few other like high profile players who I can't remember who was talking about their
Messi's a
players.
free transfer at the
Messi's
moment.
so you got Messi and Mbappe are pretty much out of contract at the same never enough at the same
Ronaldo's
time.
contract runs out. next year
Ronaldo's
as
another
well.
one. So you got Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, Pogba,
Haaland.
Haaland. They might do. Someone said it. They might do a basketball thing and just decide, right, we're just all going to become free and just go to one team.
Monster.
That's what it is. Just go to one team. That's what they might just decide to
Look
do.
at
Let's
that
just go to
original
one team.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
Just all
Let's call it
these
the
man with all the
space,
powers.
Yeah.
space Jam
Let
Super
them just
League.
all go to one team and figure it out, type of thing. But the fact that they've let Mbappe get to this, because surely 18 months they was having conversations with him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he
I
was
think
just
there's
coming.
so much more player power now though than there was a few
it's
years
like
ago.
Tevez was the one that initially set that off
Hmm.
with the whole Manchester United, Manchester City thing.
Yeah,
Like,
did.
he was the initial one to set this whole off in the first place, and it's just rippled from
All,
there.
all you need is your agent to say in your ear, just don't do anything yet. Just leave it for a year. Just say
Mhm.
like you're not focusing on a contract, and then it gets really tense. Then, and then when the clubs start panicking, that's when they either
Mhm.
lump up the money to keep you there, which effectively that's all that's going to keep Mbappe there, a massive payday. He's not going to stay for the trophy because he's won everything.
You
If
see,
you want to,
Champions
if you
League.
want,
see-
yeah,
Yeah,
if
he's
you
won
want
everything
to,
by the Champions League.
you know this because obviously Liverpool fan is Liverpool's wage structure is United have started to go to it, which I think
Yeah.
is smart. Is you started to copy a lot of the things that made us successful in terms of
Yeah.
performance-based incentives and
Yeah.
performance-based bonuses. So, for example, we've got a flat rate which we won't go higher than, which I think is 250 at the max,
Mm.
and then you'll have an incentive-based rate. So Mbappe could still come out earning the money that he's earned at PSG, but
he's
a
got
large
to
portion
put
of
it on
would
the
be
pitch.
incentive
Yeah.
based,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But I think he'd still do that because he would love to. He's openly said he'd love to play for Klopp.
Mm.
So it's like, and like you said,
Yeah.
we are never going to get a better time than this.
I just
Ever.
want us to see us make the effort to actually try it.
That's what
That's-
I mean.
I-
Just
even if
It
I
like-
sends
just-
out the
even
right
if-
message.
yeah,
It sends out the
Yeah,
right message.
because
Yeah,
if
it does. Yeah.
if it comes down to the fact that Mbappe is given, even if we have talks with representatives, yeah, that means more as a Liverpool fan. And then him signing for Real Madrid, I'd be like, right, fine. He didn't want to.
'Cause
He
you
didn't
see-
want to join Liverpool.
Yeah, he was.
And then
He
that's
first
it.
Real Madrid.
But if he joins Real Madrid and then there's no like rumors that we went in for him, then that I
Let me-
feel like that's such a shot in the foot because I feel like there's no better time to sign a player of that caliber, and you're not going to get a better player. You might have to stump out. You might have to stump out a bit more money than what you normally would. You
But
might have to
wages.
pay
Yeah,
but
150
you get it
million. You
back,
might have to,
though.
yeah. But like you said, the shirt sales would pay
to
the
me, it's
transfer
worth
fee.
it. Even outside of the shirt sales, to get a player of that caliber, at that age, who's hungry,
But then
it
the
makes
marketing
sense.
comes with it.
and then you get a sell-on value as well.
Yeah, but then you get him on a 5-year deal, and he's 27 at the end of his deal,
Yeah.
and then like the year or two bit behind that, he might get his move to Real Madrid,
And that's what I
then
mean. And you know, it's
I wouldn't be
gonna blow up
bothered.
at that point.
I'd quite happily have 4 years of Mbappe
Same.
and then let him go to Real Madrid. But it doesn't work the other way because if he goes to Real Madrid,
we ain't spending
first,
that money for him.
we're not
Triple
going to pay 200, 300
Yeah.
million for a
And I
player.
don't think you get him till he's in his probably similar to the Ronaldo
Yeah.
deal. You don't get him
Yeah.
till he's in his mid-30s.
And
They're
Yeah.
going to
so
keep him for that long period
here's-
of time.
Here's the Mbappe analogy. But so for men, is Mbappe is the girl at the club that's a 10 out of 10.
It's going to be good. Go on.
Here we
Now,
go.
that 10 out of 10 usually we're, let's say, a 5.
Yeah.
But you don't really approach girls that are 10 out of 10 because you're scared of being rebuffed. You're scared it's
Speak
not
for
going to
yourself,
happen.
Well, go
Kyle Walker's
How-
chewing our ear off.
However, right, is what normally happens is girls that are 10 out of 10 don't really get the attention because guys are too scared to approach her. That's Kylian Mbappe at this point.
Ooh, that's
Why
good.
are Liverpool? Because you'd be surprised how many girls that are 10 out of 10 will end up with a 5 out of 10 because they've actually shown the
Yeah, they
attention
just
when
approach.
other 10 out of 10 won't. Real Madrid are a 10 out of 10 club, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Liverpool are always going to be the underdogs in that situation because it's
Yes.
his dream. Slide in the DMs.
Yeah,
Slide
Just do it.
He say slide in the DM.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't
We've got nothing to
to lose.
lose.
The worst thing that he can say is no. That's it.
And I
And that's
genuinely
it.
don't think he would look at that map and say Liverpool for 3-4 years, then
Yeah.
the Real Madrid move.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good
sense.
work.
That's what I say.
Because Ronaldo kind of did
you
that when he went
can't-
to United, and then it's a similar pattern.
And
Similar pattern.
look at what Ronaldo did in that time.
At Manchester United.
But
Yeah,
even if he has 3 years at Real Madrid or 4 years at Real Madrid, he'll still be 31. He'll still be. Let's be honest. Like a 35-year-old player in today's game is complete. He's like the equivalent of like a 28 or a 29-year-old.
Especially when you know how much he idolizes Ronaldo, and you imagine he'd look after his body the same as Ronaldo. He'd be obsessed with trying to get to Ronaldo's level. And then you look at it, it's like Klopp. I've said this so many times. He's so similar in terms of his man management and his management style as Fergie. And you look at Ronaldo's path. Mbappe then looks at that path. So go to England for 3-4 years. Go to Real Madrid. Have them 4 or 5 years there. Light that up. Score this. Do the same kind of numbers there. Then I can potentially look at an Italy. Go to an Inter Milan.
I wouldn't
like the original Ronaldo. Something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't join Real Madrid now looking at him.
No, because they're in a rebuild.
Yeah,
they are in a rebuild.
I mean, they're in a transitional period. You can't guarantee that. When you're a Galactico signing, you know that you're going up to that club knowing that you're going to be challenging for every honour that you put in front of. Whereas now, I wouldn't really say that that's the case.
They're a proper rebuild job. The only thing that
with Liverpool, it's there for you. Like all we need. If we have a talismanic player like Mbappe in our squad, I think that puts us second favourite every trophy. Automatically.
He's a game changer. Like to me, if you get him, all right, he's probably the title decider to me because I rate him that highly. I think he's a title decider. I think Champions League, your last stages anyway, but your last stage is quite like I think he's that good and he's that big of a swing in the correct because now in the correct way because he's now the main thing on the opposition's mind. Yeah. But you still have Mane, you still have Salah, you still have Firmino, you still got Thiago, you still got your fullbacks added into all of that. But now it's Mbappe. He's going to create so much more space for Salah scores so many goals anyway. Imagine how much more space he's going to have now he's not the one being targeted.
And you see how many times you've watched it? Trent used to get so much abuse last season because he clipped the ball in the channel. Firmino don't have the legs to run onto it. Imagine Mbappe running onto the balls in the channel.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's a player, Mbappe, that you could comfortably put up front in that central role as well. And he could play on either side as well. It gives you diversity in all your tactics,
That's what I'm saying. We've seen that.
But he's the superstar that's available now it's once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Yes, to get him for this cheap as well. Like when he wants to leave and it's like whoever goes in for him is negotiating from a position of power because he wants to leave. So it's like, we offer 60 million now. If you take this, or there's a bidding war in January, because we can talk to him in January. Other clubs can talk to him in January, which is then going to make teams go, all right, we'll bump up the wages because we're not paying a transfer fee for you now.
Even if it got that far though, there's no other clubs other than Real Madrid I can see who would be in for him because I think Barcelona are absolutely at the
it's one of them. Barcelona may find a way. Barcelona, I think, because of how Real Madrid and Barcelona operate, I could see both of them, especially if Barcelona lose Messi, look for the next guy to get their fans back on side.
I can't see Messi leaving now because I think something would have already materialised and come to light that he's on the way out. Yeah. And with the fact that him being a free agent now in Barcelona, there's no real panic in the media, is there, about him? It's like kind of all quite calm and nothing's being said. But I'd love us just to put a bid in or just to be quiet and just inquire about him. I'd be happy if they just inquired about him.
Like Stroll said, slide in the DMs. That's what you say, isn't it? Just say hello. Hey, big head. Like something. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, just say something. That's what it is. But obviously we're speaking about Mbappe because we're talking about PSG. But yes, this Pogba to PSG, this is my first of hearing it. And the Pogba side of things doesn't make sense. Yes, considering he is French, he is from Paris. Poch is there. You can see what they're building. They're going to go to the back three with wing backs, hence why they've signed Ramos. They've signed Hakimi. They've got Wijnaldum in there. They'll probably sign a left wing back. You've still got Mbappe and Neymar there. Why would Pogba not look at that and go, depending on Mbappe's situation, but even for that one season and go, you know what? That's a great position to be in.
If you're PSG, you're thinking, if I get Pogba, potentially you might be able to persuade Mbappe to stay.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
So it makes perfect sense for PSG.
Because it makes sense. And then all they're lacking really is that number 9, and you still got your Di Maria's in there, you still got Gay in there, you've still got other players that can play in there, you still got Herrera there as well.
And the money that they get from Mbappe, they'd go out and get,
they go and sign somebody.
They'd sign someone anyway, and I'm sure that they've probably got targets in mind already who they really want.
So yeah, so it's a good project.
Sarabia is playing well for Spain.
Sarabia, there you go. We get players we've even forgot, but that's the way it's looking for PSG. It's a promising project. So do United sell? Obviously, we've got these whole Camavinga links. But if Camavinga comes in, does that then persuade Pogba to stay at Manchester United because he's looking at it going, we're trying to get Varane? I'm just saying, do I believe these things happen? No.
You know what I mean?
I still refuse to believe it, people. Let me get into this. I still refuse to believe that my football club, after 13 years, all of a sudden, or however long it's been, 10 years, is like, all right, we're going to decide to act right and go and get players in positions we need and players of our caliber and do great business. I'm still shocked about the Sancho one, that we got that done so early. We need a centre back.
That is a great sign.
That's a phenomenal sign.
And the money that you've paid for him,
phenomenal.
Crazy.
You were talking about Mbappe, and in terms of the age he's at, like getting somebody of Sancho's caliber at that, he's 21 years old and he already has a wealth of experience in terms of where he's been. He's not 21 years old in experience. He's not inexperienced.
In terms of big games.
Yeah, he's been in Champions Leagues. You know what I'm saying? He's been in Champions League games.
7 million or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Could have him for the next 10 years.
Bro, Barcelona bought Coutinho for 140.
And they're trying to sell him for 20 million.
Yeah.
Surprised no one's gone in for him, to be honest. At that price.
It's injuries, though, isn't it? Injuries again.
There's a lot of talk of him coming back to us because Barcelona are basically just saying take him back.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're like doing it like a repossession, aren't they? Like
because
cash converters, Coutinho and cash converter.
Still was like 30, 40
Oh, that's why they didn't play him, because they would have triggered a clause.
So they still owe us money, so they're basically saying, look, have him back in, we'll call it quits. I wouldn't mind that. As a squad player, I'd take that. As a squad player,
of course he fits.
But I think that reverts back to the Danny Ings kind of argument, where he's had a lot of injuries while he's been at Barca. He's had one good season at Bayern Munich, and ironically, he played one of his best games against Barcelona.
Yeah.
But it's a.
That's what I mean. We need to improve our squad, not necessarily our 11. So,
and I think the likes of Doku and Coutinho and Ings, even though, like you said, I get what you're saying about the injuries, do improve your squad.
The good thing about Coutinho is he'd bite his hand off to come back, and he'd probably sacrifice a lot. He'd come back with
a
big chip on his shoulder,
and he probably wouldn't be like as demanding contract wise. No, he'd say, "Oh, you want to give me a 2 year? Yeah, you want to give me a 2 year deal? Fine." But he's 29 now. It's like that's.
But yeah, the Sancho deal, like I said, I'm very gassed about it. Extremely happy.
I'm very impressed with that signing.
Yeah,
just for the money alone, like that amount of money is nothing in today's game.
Yes.
And you've signed probably one of the. And do you know what always gets me as well? Like English players have this like tax on them where they're so overpriced. Like Ben White going to Arsenal for like 50.
Yeah, he's 20 million more than Ben White.
Crazy.
He's 20 million more than Ben White.
Ben White, bro. Like not even
Ben White, bro.
Here's the thing, right? I watched Ben White when he was at Leeds. I think he is a phenomenal talent. He is not a £50 million talent.
He's not. No.
I didn't see anything when Brighton were playing that made me go and get him. Is he that much better than Lewis Dunk?
No, yeah.
Is he that much better though?
Yeah.
Is he? Well, but
he's not 50 million. I'll tell you this. And you know this. I've watched a lot of these. So I told you about Ben White, Calvin Phillips before even. I said Calvin Phillips would get an England call up before he did.
You did say that
because
the value of Calvin Phillips though will be astronomical. Like you wouldn't get Calvin Phillips like 30, 40 million. You're looking at if you've got the likes of Ben White, who's a one cap England defender, and you've got a Calvin Phillips who's had a very good tournament so far. You look, and like I said, English players get like this imagination tax put on where because they're English, they have to pay more for it.
Yeah, English tax is a real thing.
I remember when we signed Lallana, and it was years ago. We signed him at 25 mil, and he was 28. That's crazy money.
Yeah, it was 20 mil with 5 mil add-ons, and it's just like
and we had to sign Lambert as well to like kind of make it look because Lallana's minimum fee release clause was like. Was it not something like we had to buy Lambert as a way to? It wouldn't.
It's stupid business. Now, while I've got you here, one thing I want to discuss.
Let's go.
Rafa Benitez going to Everton.
Don't care.
I expected that from Liverpool fans. Ryan, who's in the comments there chatting breeze about Varane and that, he was talking and he was like he's not fussed because of what Benitez did for Liverpool, so he's not fussed. It's more so the Everton fans.
I'll only be bothered if Everton do well. That's it.
But that's insert manager here. You're only bothered about him if they're doing well to everything.
It doesn't. There's still Everton. There's still rivals, and I think Benitez, as much as he did for us as a club, it's been a long time now.
Did you see the Sky Sports interview where he said Carragher openly asked him? He said, "If the Everton job came up, would you take it?" And he went, "It's football."
Yeah, I think that's how he sees
If
it.
it's an attractive proposition, like for Benitez, it's an attractive proposition. He's lived in the area practically all his life since he come to.
And he gets to come home. And let's be honest, regardless of the Everton fans, he is loved in Liverpool. The amount of charity work this man's done, the fact that this man had Rafael Benitez chanted at the Hillsborough. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Chanted at the Hillsborough Memorial Day. And obviously you got the Hillsborough families there and they're giving him hugs and thanking Rafa personally for everything that he's done. Like, it goes deeper than going to Everton. Go to Everton.
But then look at it from another perspective. If he actually gets any form of success with Everton, that's the whole of Liverpool that will respect him and
that's true. I've said that. He has to hit the ground sprinting.
Yeah,
at Everton.
He can't go.
Yeah, but it's like this man is one of the best tactical managers.
Yeah, I think he'll do it. Like
this man went. Let's be honest. This man went toe to toe with prime Fergie and prime Mourinho, and came out with some unbelievable victories.
Yeah, he did.
The 2005 Champions League final.
See that? Yeah,
he brought Didi Hamann on, a defensive midfielder. You're 3-0 down. You bring on a defensive midfielder. Everyone's like, what? No, because that freed up Gerrard. And what Gerrard did.
There you go. Now he did. Now I agree with that. Like in terms of Everton, yes. If you look past, I suppose the rivalry's there, but you look at it, is it a good sign? Is it a good? Is it a good signing for you?
For them.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be successful there. Whether that means trophies, I don't know.
Perfect manager for them.
I don't know about the trophy size, but definitely
it'll be very interesting to see Rafa at a club where they actually give him money to spend because he's not had this for a very long time.
This is what I'm saying. I think this is a perfect recipe because do you know what he's going to do first and foremost? He's going to go get another goalkeeper.
We know about that. Shout out to Chris Kirkland. He's definitely going to go get another goalkeeper. Shout out, Chris Kirkland told us about Rafa Benitez. Hey, you lot, make sure you go check out that.
That was a phenomenal interview.
Go check out that interview we did with Chris Kirkland from A Fair Eye View.
Some of the stuff that he was exposing in that, I was like, what?
Yeah, I just was shocked. I'm saying I couldn't believe it. Because I was like, he said what he said about Benitez. I was like, all right, this is me. I'm pressing for more information. All he can say is no. And I asked him,
because when he initially said the comment, Rafa wants to be the main man.
Yeah, the conversation went on.
Me and you were like, right, but
I was like, I'm bringing this back.
Yeah, but we don't expect him to then go into it because you were expecting him to be like, listen, there's some stuff I can't talk about. Oh no, he went fully
into it,
in depth of the reason why Rafa wants to be the main man and why him and Gerrard never got on and how he acted with the players in the dressing room. Me and him were like, and JV were like,
yeah, Rafa wants to be Mr. Liverpool. It's all about him.
We were like, wow.
I was like,
oh, Rafa wanted to be the main man.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's when we interviewed Chris Kirkland.
That's what Chris Kirkland said.
I thought you said Chris Kirkland wanted to be the main man.
No. So basically what he was saying was when he was doing, it was his first training session, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he wanted to punch it.
Yeah, Chris Kirkland was coming out, catching the ball. It's like, why are you catching it? I wanted to punch it. And he personally held the session for them to, a one-on-one, was throwing the ball up and making Chris Kirkland punch it, who notoriously was known for catching everything because of the size of him. Chris Kirkland was like, that's a bit weird. And then obviously he was talking about why Gerrard constantly used to get moved to the right and stuff like that. And he was just like, and why the issue, then why Gerrard wanted to leave was because Benitez was so cold with him because he wanted to be the main man in Liverpool, but not Gerrard. And we were like, wow, did not expect this kind of information from this.
And that's the kind of stuff that happens behind closed doors, isn't it? And that's you don't know what he'll translate over to Everton.
I think he'll be a success.
I think he'll be a moderate success. I don't think he'll go above and beyond the start.
No, I don't think he'll get him like a trophy or anything.
He's a project builder.
But because it's a great project to have. The only issue he has is he's not going to get the patience because he's Rafa Benitez. But I do see him doing well there with the links he has and with the players. You obviously James Rodriguez is there. If you manage to keep hold of him, you keep hold of Allen. You got Dominic Calvert-Lewin's there as well.
Crazy how many players Ancelotti's brought from past clubs in it, and he's just gone.
Right, see you lads. You got Godfrey there. You got Digne there. So you got good players to use from.
It's his black book, and Benitez will have a black book, and that black book will be stacked.
Yeah, with goalkeepers and stuff like that. Because Everton, like I said, I wanted as a fan, I wanted to see Ancelotti finish that project, but Real Madrid came calling. Merseyside or Madrid, I understand.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Full of goalkeepers.
I understand.
It's not even up for debate. Everyone's talking about how great of a Euros Pickford's had. Did you see him against Ukraine coming out?
That was the one time, but I'm not gonna lie, he has been good because I was expecting a mistake by now. But I was expecting he's done everything he's supposed to do. Apart, I think it was the save from Havertz against Germany, where the strike it was right at him, but it's still a good save because of the pace. Go on, there we go.
Jordan Pickford is still in Jordan Pickford's
Yeah, we know he is
coming out against Ukraine.
I can see him making a mistake making a mistake. Not in the final against semi-final.
It's all about what happens in the game if we go goal down or if a mistake happens, and it's
I guarantee the mistake from Jordan Pickford or Kyle Walker.
Tell us about Kyle Walker.
Yeah, you've not really spoke on him
No,
too
you,
much, to
you
be
don't
honest.
mention him a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, jeez, it is. But yeah, we will be when we're back. Actually, we will know who won both the semi-finals, and we will know who won the final as well, because we will be back the day after the final. So it's going to be a big From a Third Eye View discussing them both. We'll be discussing the final and both semi-finals. So whether it's England, whether it's Denmark, whether it's Italy, whether it's Spain, and whichever two out of those four get to the final, we'll be discussing it.
That'll be
We will be
tasty.
discussing it.
Tasty topics there.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be very good. 100%. I can't wait, innit? So we're gonna know who is reigning supreme in Europe. Will it be Gareth Southgate in England? Will there be a new bank holiday set up?
How do you say it's coming home in Danish?
Someone said it's coming Rome. I was like, that's good still. Someone said it's coming Rome. Is it going to be Mancini's Italy? Is it going to be the Danes?
Can I
Or
just say,
is it
Mancini
gonna
and
be
his
Spain?
coaching staff are the best dressed coaching staff.
It's actually a joke. They
Swag
look like
is
they're on a
crazy.
Versace runway. Like
The
it's just,
swag is crazy in that front.
They ready, man. They came prepared. They came prepared and
Grey
came prepped.
blazer, trousers, tie, all of them. No tracksuits in sight.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna close out the show. Bizzo,
Thank
let
you
them know
for
where you
having
can
me.
find you and anything you want to add before we leave the
No,
show.
obviously, I appreciate you having me on. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BizzoBond.
There
But
you go,
yeah, thanks
people.
very much for the invite.
Anytime,
Enjoyed
man.
it.
Yeah, man. You bodied it. No problem. Stroke. Anything you want to add before we leave the show?
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker, Jordan Pickford, Gareth Southgate.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, people, I'm going to say love to everyone who's tuned in and supporting the channel. It is much, much, much appreciated. And we will be back next Monday, 7 p.m, talking the Euros finals and the semi-finals and which team has been crowned. But thank you very much for tuning in. This has been From a Third Eye View on Pi Radio.